We're good?
Yep. Yeah,
Satya?
I think we're live.
All right. Well, good evening once again. Welcome to DCL Prime Time. The season has kicked off. We've had some upsets, some expected wins, but I'm sure everyone is excited to see how the first week shaped up. And to discuss all that and more, I have with me tonight Satya Velayudam, of course, and Parthiv Mehta as well, our two analysts. We're still waiting on Viju, who, if you recollect, issued a certain challenge of shaving off his or growing a mustache, rather, if a certain team managed to go through the season undefeated. And to take up that challenge and to answer it in person, we have a representative from that team, KRCC, joining us today. And speaking of the devil, there he is himself, Viju Zakaria, who we are glad has joined in right on cue, because we have Yogesh from Team KRCC here to address the challenge that's been thrown at his team. So we will kick off proceedings today with our team spotlight segment. As you all have guessed, probably the team that's under the spotlight today is Team Knight Riders Cricket Club, or KRCC as we refer to them. So Yogesh, welcome to the show. It's lovely to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me over at DCL Prime Time. Thanks, Avi, Viju, Satya, Parthiv, Venkat. Thank you again. I have a long journey with the DCL, around 18 years when we first floated the team, Eagles, in 2003. And there were around, I think, a dozen teams. Viju knows better, dozen or 15 teams when we floated. And now, if you look at like 2018, we had 40 plus teams. And with the COVID, we have around 33 teams. So we have, certainly evolved from where we were. The footprint has grown tremendously. And the entire thing goes to committee. Committee, thank you so much for putting all the efforts in and taking a big stride where you have, where we were like 18, 20 years ago and where we are today. This is one of the biggest softball league in the US. And amazing things we have done. And for example, we had the scoring, the online scoring, the radio show going on, prime time coming up, rule book coming up, and constantly updating the rule book and all the logistics for the grounds and everything. I think it's a tremendous work, which sometimes go unnoticed. But KRCC teams want to thank the committee and everybody who participated in bringing this big stride and big involvement of league, to the next level. Thank you again for having me over.
Sure. So speaking of growth, it's not just the league, right? So looks like KRCC as a team has grown by leaps and bounds as well. Looks like you've been boosting up your arsenal in all departments. So walk us through a bit about how you've gone about building your team over the years, where to a point where, in my opinion, they're a force to reckon with. Viju obviously believes they're not as big a force as I'm making them out to be. But we will let you address that challenge as we go on. But talk us through a little bit about how you've gone about building your team. How is it that you've managed to procure these players and you've now built up your unit?
Yeah, so, when we started KRCC, like we were very few people, very few players on the team. And then, the existing KRCC player, with the help of Tish Gaba, we brought in, a few good players and good talent. Right. We eventually, we had an eye of having some good players with all-rounders and then some key batsmen we had to get. We were looking at a multi-dimensional team which can, have a solid batting lineup, bowling lineup, all-rounders and keepers and so on. So we had the spot marks basically. And to be honest, Glad was one of the team, which we were looking at to see like, how to benchmark. But that's a big name, big team. There's no way, we are saying, we're close to that, nothing of that nature. But some teams are the benchmark. So when we started, that was team we had as a benchmark, and then we started marking the players like at the spot level whom we have to get. The good thing about our team is, it's a very well-rounded team and we gel very well. Right. If we win a game, we take a drink. If we lose, we take two, just put it that way. And, thick and thin, we're always together. Even if we lose due to some, some reason, we don't, point fingers and nothing of that nature. And we are very solid together on the field and outside of the field. And we have a, very balanced team, left arm bowling, right arm bowling, and, even batting order, like defensive versus aggressive, few wicket keepers and so on. So we have a pretty good mix of the team at this moment.
So you've laid it on nice and thick, saying that Glads is the team that you've actually modeled or tried to model your squad on. I don't think that's going to hold back the Glads patriarch that we have here with us.
I know for sure.
So, Viju,
not only modeled, I would say they've also picked up a few from the Glads team.
Oh, have they? Who is that?
They've got the magician. They've got Maulik. I had a question on Maulik. How do you handle the hot-headed Maulik?
No, he's all right. He's a good guy, actually. No trouble, nothing. He's a very nice guy, very good addition to the team. He's a true team player. Very nice, very solid addition.
I should have guessed it when you said 2 beers, but yeah, sure.
So, Yogesh, what are your realistic chances this season? What do you aim at to go? Where do you go from here?
Parthiv, don't know. We take game by game. Like, the DCL format or any other cricketing, sporting thing, upsets can happen. Even all the teams I consider are the equally good teams. You can't take any team lightly. And, we have seen the upsets in the past week as well. And, it always happens. So we can't take anything for granted. Okay, we are going to win a game against any team. We have to play to our strengths on a given day. And if luck is with you, you play to your strengths and, hide your weaknesses. I think you can prevail. So, but it's not like, there's any strong team, any weak team. Yeah, there are very good players, very solid teams. But even the, some, lesser, some weaker teams can also beat you. Like, it's very uncertain. This is how it is. That's how the nature of the beast is.
So logically speaking, how far do you see yourself going? What's your target?
Our target is, we are going to go game by game. Each game we take very seriously. And we try to win the games, whatever, comes our way. But again, there is no guarantee, nothing. And that's what we're aiming for. And whatever, if we play well, and if it's our day, we can get the game. If it's not ours, it's not ours.
Of course, but logically speaking, when you compare yourself to the strength that's available in the league, how far do you see yourself going?
We are aiming to make it to the playoffs for sure.
Okay.
This is what right. Chances are, and if we play well,
okay,
and we are hoping that's a first barrier we have to cross, by qualifying, and our aim is to stay at the top of the pool if possible. But again, we have some very tough competition coming up, and all the teams are good, and some of the teams are really good, and we have to be very, very cautious of those teams.
I personally feel you really have a shot at topping your table, but clearly there is one gentleman in our panel that disagrees with me. So Viju, please.
There are two gentlemen. We are in the same group as well. Yogi, we meet next week.
Oh no.
So what are you going to shave off, Parthiv?
No, I basically am losing hair, so I don't have to do anything. It's going naturally.
Yogesh, I am so happy to see you. Let me tell you that. I have not seen you. I have not seen you in ages. So just seeing you alone just made my night, kind of a thing. But for those who do not know, Yogesh served on the DCL committee. He has, as he said, he has been playing for ages. I know him best for Eagles because that's when he was at his prime. At his prime, he was a very good player. I saw the scorecard last week and I saw that Yogesh scored 10 runs. And I was so happy to see him right there in the middle order, going there, playing a crucial innings, getting his team the win. And honestly, many people do not know that, what Yogesh brings to the table, but I can confidently tell you, there's no Yogesh, there is no KRCC. And by the way, Yogesh, your host, Avinash, did not know who you were. In fact, he thought Gaba was the captain. And I had to give him the same kind of verbal treatment, which I had to give last week about KRCC. I said, what do you mean Gaba is the captain? I know that as long as Yogesh is there, Yogesh has to be the captain, because KRCC is everything because of the sacrifices Yogesh has made. He purchased the team. There was a time when teams were not available in DCL. You had to pay a premium and buy out some other team because that was the kind of demand to get into DCL. Now, obviously, the last 2-3 years, the interest in the league has waned off. And, now we are going around begging for teams to join. I mean, that's a sad state of affairs in itself.
Really?
This is, I heard from another captain who told me that, this is, and Partha can correct me if I'm wrong, but there were committee members offering money to teams to come and join the league, that they will put money out of the pocket.
Really?
When I heard it, I said, man, we have sunk to this level. I mean, I remember when I was the DCL treasurer, Avi, let me tell you something. We gave 2 spots and we said, there's only 2 spots open and it's going to be based on lottery. And if you are serious, and we wanted to make sure that it is lottery, that we knew there was going to be tremendous demand. So I said, you know what, there's going to be only 2 spots and we are going to, when I said I was extension of the committee I'm talking about. We said only 2 spots, all right, 34 teams. We're going to add 2 more teams to make it 36 teams. And there's going to be a lottery. And in order to show that you are really serious, let's say if Yogesh wanted a team, he had to deposit $1,000 with me because I was the DCL treasurer. And once I get the money by that certain date, then we would put them into the lottery. Otherwise, no lottery. Now, guess what?
Let me clear the air on the committee, because I don't want the committee to come after me and say you didn't take our side. But this year we had 6 new teams join us, even though we had 6 other teams kind of go out. Because of the pandemic, a lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of people have to go back because
let me stop you right there. Did the committee offer money? This is
never. Never. Okay, I don't think we would never stoop to that level. So
okay, maybe you did. Maybe, okay, so let's ask Satya. Let's put him on the spot now. Satya, was money offered? Because this is what I got from another captain, that money was offered for a team to subsidize their payment entry into the league. Am I right, or is Parthiv right? Obviously, both of us cannot be right. I know the captain who told me this.
Satya,
we can't hear you.
Satya, you're on mute.
So
there you go.
It was not direct, but they said it will be shared like this. If any other team, because we need to get 33 teams, if one more team comes, it will be equally poised, like 11 in a pool. So right now it is 32. So we kind of, committee was needed one more team to make it equal, and the one pool don't have to fight for one last game.
Fair enough. Whatever be the argument, I rest my case. Parthiv, when you do not know the facts, I might be 10,000 miles away, but clearly I know the facts which is going on, because I have sources sending me video. I have sources sending me information saying that this is what is happening, what's going on. All right, this was asked me. I said,
I'll come back.
Guys, hang on. So just to clear the air. So Satya, when you say it'll be shared, you meant to say that the league will sponsor part of their registration fees. Is that what you mean to say?
Not the committee. Committee will find some sponsors.
Sorry?
Committee will find some sponsor.
Okay. So that's kind of surprising, because compared to some of you people, I'm a lot younger in this league. This is only my 6th year playing DCL, and I remember as recently as maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I remember there was like a qualifying round, I believe, that was about to be played because there were
I'm sorry, you're living in the Stone Ages.
I understand. So it's extremely shocking for a league to go from there to here in barely 2 or 3 years. So what's going wrong? Maybe that's a topic for another day. But
it's a topic for another day, and we are diverting from that point. But my point is coming back to the point, and I was talking about Yogesh buying out a team and why he had to buy out a team. As I said, there were only 2 spots, and since you're new to the league, Avi, guess how many teams paid me $1,000 to have the right to enter into a lottery. As
Well,
God
I remember somebody putting down a check saying I want to register 30 teams, but not too long ago.
It's not 30 teams. One gentleman paid $26,000.
Very good.
All right, and he entered 26 teams, and he entered teams from A, B, C. Team names starting with A, starting with B, starting with C, all the way up to Z. He covered all the 26 letters of the alphabet. I give him credit for that.
Most of us and the viewers know who the gentleman is, but yeah, going on. Yes.
Really? I don't think you know who the gentleman is.
Well,
there's no way I revealed the gentleman to anybody. So unless I revealed it, there is no way you would know who the gentleman is. You might be thinking that the gentleman is Ajay Reddy. I can assure you it was not Ajay Reddy.
It wasn't? Okay.
Okay. So see, I knew where you were going. I could get inside your head and tell you what you were thinking.
Because it's not just me thinking it. It was a whole bunch of people thinking. And that was the reason why a lot of people said he even started his own league.
That's fine. He can, he also put in a chunk of change. But anyway, let's get to the point. The point is we collected $66,000. 66 teams paid $1,000 a piece to get into for 2 teams. Now, coming back to the thing, look at the passion of Yogesh. Okay, so that's a separate topic altogether, done and dusted, over and gone, right? But what I'm saying is Yogesh had to buy out a team in order to enter the league. But look at the passion of Yogesh. He did what he had to do. You get my point? He had to do exactly what he had to do to get into a team. He wanted this thing. He had a team called Eagles. They played for a long time. Then he was the owner of Greens. He was the captain for Greens, and they played for some time. Avi, trust me, he played. Ask him. He'll tell you. But he was a fun person in the league, and finally he joined the DCL committee. He served as the DCL treasurer. He's an absolutely fun guy to be with. And I would tell Yogesh, I don't care who plays for KRCC. You pick yourself and 10 other guys. That's the same thing Ajbani used to tell me. Arjun used to tell me, Vijay, you pick yourself and 10 other guys. I don't care if you're not playing, I'm not playing. Simple as that. So the same thing needs to happen to KRCC. In fact, I would even prefer that if you change the KRCC name back to Eagles. Because every time I see Yogesh, I only think Eagles because he was a fabulous player for Eagles. But coming back to Yogi, so happy to see you. I have one thing against you. I have one thing against you, though.
Just one.
And just one. Because you promised the DCL committee at that time, which included me, this amazing dinner with barbecue and all that stuff at your place. And every time you meet me, you keep telling me, Viju, I'm calling you to my place. And I am still waiting to come and have this fabulous dinner at your place. But just make it this time. You call that old committee for dinner at your place and just invite the new committee along. And also, if Maulik Patel is still playing for you, invite Maulik Patel also along. He's a good friend of mine too.
Absolutely.
Even though he doesn't play for me, he's a good friend of mine.
Viju, when you come to US, absolutely the dinner is still on. And you're always busy, So next time.
No, I have time for dinner, baby. I have time for dinner at your place, baby. You tell me the time, I'll show up.
Well,
barbecue.
The first barbecue you have to do, Yogesh, is to prove Viju wrong and barbecue his statement that you are not capable of going through undefeated. So that's
Yogesh, make me grow a mustache. Please make me grow a mustache. I beg you to make me grow a mustache. I beg you. Try to make me grow a mustache. I said KRCC will not go undefeated. And my friend Parthiv is going to do his level best to make sure that I remain without a mustache. But if you have the guts, make me grow a mustache.
Viju, I really want to see you in mustache. I tell you one thing for sure. I don't know how you would look, but I want to see you in mustache, and that's
all right.
But again, it's not a
challenge. Game on, baby. All you have to do is go undefeated. I didn't ask you to win the championship. I only said go undefeated in Pool B.
Okay, Yogi, I have another rumor which I've heard recently in the last week. I heard about your ace, Jasneet. Is he in US or back, or I heard he was stuck in Canada for a while? Is he getting through that?
Parthiv, I'm 10,000 miles away. He's in Canada.
Yeah,
next question.
That's what I have heard. So is he on his way back?
Yeah, so Michigan? From India, I think he came in January from India to Calgary to his brother, and today he's flying back to Windsor. So hopefully, upcoming weeks he will be available. But again, the border restrictions, if they open up H1, how the H1 will play out. don't know. There are a lot of uncertainties.
Right.
But the moment he get an opportunity, he will absolutely cross the border and play some good cricket for KRCC.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody will be looking forward to that.
No, absolutely. He's one of the great additions to the team.
In fact, you will need him if you want to make me grow a mustache, Yogesh. So I don't know. Maybe you'll have to give him a job in your company. I don't know what you have to do. You have to stand on your head, make that happen.
He's way bigger.
It's only once in a lifetime you get this opportunity.
He's way bigger than getting a job in the company. He's a big guy, so he should be all right.
Okay. So, well, then maybe he can start a company of his own and show up. But anyway, I think you definitely need him if KRCC has to go undefeated. It's as simple as that. No offense against KRCC. It's just that you have so many good. You have a few good teams in your pool, and while the pool might be weak, but I still think that the 3 or 4 teams I see as tremendous danger zones for you. Those guys are.
Sure. So personally, Yogi, personally in your pool, who do you think is going to present the toughest challenge for you?
And before I answer that, let me answer one question for Viju. Viju, what our team is, we don't want to depend our team on just on 1 or 2 people. We all perform on a given day. It's a matter of clicking 1 or 2 people. If they click, 1 or 2 players, they click the day, you're through. So Jasneet is a very good addition, but our team should not be dependent totally on Jasneet to win the tournament. And we have very capable guys. We have been playing without him at this moment, and we are still pulling some games out. He's solid. He's a solid addition. But again, our team is not going to be dependent on just one person. It's a team play, and we have other team players also who are the match winners on a given day.
I think one of the players I think is most underrated, which I have seen, is Bihar. I think he is one of most underrated player in DCL. I've seen him. I've played with him. I'm looking forward for him to take more responsibility if KRCC is to get there.
Yeah,
actually, part of KRCC has a left-arm bowler named Sahesh Vasan. He's an excellent bowler. I mean, he's a top-class bowler, if you ask me. Yes. And then they have the magician. The question is, the magician performs best when you put him in the optimum position. And that is something which Yogesh and Gaba have to figure out. They are smart guys, and they'll have to figure it out. Remember, Yogesh, when the magician played for me, I made sure he got the best bowler award in DCL. That's the highest number of wickets in DCL.
I totally agree.
And it is not just his skill that he got the award. For sure, it is a skill in the sense that if he doesn't have those magical balls, he's not getting those wickets. But it is also my skill not to trump up my own thing, but I knew where to use him and when to use him and how to use him and how to motivate him. So I think if you can do that, that guy can still perform. He's a top class bowler still. So
he is. There is no doubt he is a top class bowler. Absolutely. And we did see Viju, we used him. We did some research, and it all depends on the pitches and the teams and whatnot. So absolutely, we have the optimal spot for him, and we are going to rotate him the way we think is good for the team.
So coming back then, so in your pool, who do you consider your toughest challenge? The thought of facing whom makes you rub your hands in glee and say, yes, this is a contest to watch out for?
Actually, Avi, every game, every night prior to any game, I rub my hands. Because no game is easy game. And when you're playing a DCL now, 18 years after 18 years, it's a different ball game now. Every game matters. Every point matters. Every decision you take matters. So irrespective of the opponents, I rub my hands every evening before the game, thinking, what is the strategy, what are the contingency plans and whatnot. So we had to plan it out. So read the opponents and whatnot. So we do a lot of homework before we go into the game. So it's not like good teams and bad teams. There are, to me, all the teams are good teams, but there are certainly some good players, some good individuals, who are, very solid too, and we have to be very cautious and wary of those players.
Well, so Yogesh being very politically correct over there, but nevertheless, KRCC looks like it's shaping up pretty well. It's a team that we are all excited to watch this year, and we wish you the very best, Yogi, to you and your team. Good luck.
No, thank you so much.
Thanks, Yogesh.
Yep. So moving on to the next segment, we have our analyst.
Yogesh,
who is
Yogesh, please stay on.
Yeah,
Yogesh, please stay on because you will be taking part in the predictions. So
Okay.
you're our guest of honor today. So
all right, no
you'll
problem.
be taking part in the predictions. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
So yes, so analysis of the previous week's games. I believe we have Parthiv with the relevant information.
Yeah, Satya, do you want to share so we can go in the
Yep,
So,
it's already on.
yeah. I just wanted to share the results played so that we can go in the order in which they're listed. So the first one I think is listed MCC Miles Sterling Strikers. This was a typical what do you call this DCL game of the 2000s. You know, low scoring, really slow. If you look at the scores there, it's like so 60s, 70s. And you know, one of my teammates was the umpire in this game, and he immediately like texted me. You know, Raza Ali, his figures were 4 overs, 4 maidens, 5 wickets, and 0 runs. You know, basically at one point of time. And if he had not given those 10 runs in the last over, you know, that could have been a record which would have been difficult to even think about forget matching about. And if you've seen Raza Ali, I think he reminds me of the New Zealand all-rounder, you know, Chris Harris. Really innocuous. You know, you barely can even think about that he can ever get a wicket or even beat a batsman. But he somehow is always in the top 5, top 10 of DCL. You know, so somehow he's got the miraculous line and length, which he keeps persisting, gets
Right.
people, you know, playing the wrong line, you know, missing balls, edging somehow, and he's always in the middle of wickets. I think in this, yes,
5 overs, 4 maidens. That's what it says. 5 overs, 4 maidens.
Yes.
So he gave up 10 runs in 1 over, but he picked
Correct.
up 5 wickets. That's unbelievable.
Yes, that was the last over, unfortunately. So at one point it was 4 overs, 4 maidens, 5 wickets. The last over he leaked out 10 runs, and you know that I was like looking forward to the final stats, and unfortunately, I think they said that they just ran out of gas or something. He was so exhausted.
If he had 5 overs, 5 maidens, 0 runs, and 5 wickets, I think we would have said that Raza Ali is the greatest thing since sliced cheese.
Yeah, I would have basically nominated him myself for Guinness Book of World Records or something to that sort. But coming back to this game again, I think we all knew MCC Miles' fortunes were heavily dependent on Sanjay. He was out at a low score. I think he was out on a duck, if I'm not mistaken. And after that, you know, MCC Miles folded for I think 49, and after that, you know, it was pretty much a one-sided game. Sterling Strikers, even though they struggled, lost 6-7 wickets, but somehow were able to cross the line and get the win. I think MCG Miles have their work cut down. They take on Pokies next, so that should be another game which you know, should be tough to get through. But hopefully they learn lessons from this game and, you know, perform better. I think the next game is probably the one which the Canton 11 and Gladiators. I was really like, I was following this game on cricket clubs. Fortunately on cricket clubs, that's one wonderful thing which you can do is like continuously, like even by ball you can follow. Gladiators at one point of time, I think were in trouble, 3 for 6, I think, in 2 overs. And then our friend Hardeep, you know, I actually met him an hour ago before the match. I was going for my leather ball game, and he was there, and I talked to him and I said, "Why are you here? Aren't you playing today for Glads?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm going after this game ends." And that time I think it was 12:30 or 1 o'clock. And then he said, you know, he went out. He went out there, scored I think another 55 runs, got the game back on track. And I think the thing which I think was quite refreshing to see was Ronak back among the runs. I think he's had a quiet couple of seasons from, you know, the tall stature which he had built for himself, being the MVP for you know, consecutive years. So I think he's had a couple of seasons which were quiet, but I think it's good to see him back in the runs. Good to see him up the order, making some runs. And to be honest, I'm very surprised that Canton 11 were able to reach that score of 107. with the bowling attack which Lads has. But I know you guys are missing some of your regulars, Taif and Anoop. So some of the other people got a chance to bowl and roll their arms. But nevertheless, I think it was an easy win. Not too much to sweat about. So hopefully the next games come through and give you more of a challenge.
Avi, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought after each game we were going to come from Parthiv to me to see if I had any additional thoughts, right?
Yes, please. Yeah, feel free.
So I didn't want to jump in out of turn kind of a thing, but I thought that was our general pattern was Parthiv will cover the match and I'll just cover some of this
totally,
thing.
Absolutely. And this
so
is
let's
a
go back.
discussion. So
let's go back to the previous game. I want to talk about Raza Ali. Now, he's a very underrated bowler, as Parthiv said. Now, Parthiv says top 10. I disagree with Parthiv on that, in the sense that I don't think he's top 10. If you ask me, he's probably top 3 almost every year. He's always in the wickets, all right? Mm-hmm. I have never seen him in top 10 as such. I have never seen him fight to trend. He's definitely in the top 5. Most of the times he's in the top 3. He's a fantastic bowler. And again, as Parthiv said, he doesn't look dangerous. He looks very, very normal pedestrian. You think you can score runs off him and things like that. But it's the way he grips the ball and the way he releases the ball. And the ball does something different. You think the ball is there to be hit. But when you go to hit the ball, it often spoons up for a catch and things like that. He's not going to beat you with pace or anything like that. But at the end of the day, last I checked, all you need is wickets. And this guy pitched wickets by bunches. Having said the good thing, and he's a solid batsman, he can come in at 1 down or 2 down or whatever spot you want, and he can hold one end all the way. Now, he's not going to score at 12 runs and over or 15 runs and over or something along those lines. But he's a typical DCL batsman who can stay there till the very end. And he has won numerous matches for his team just by sticking at the wickets and scoring the runs. So having said all these things, I have something against Raza Ali. And here is what I have against Raza Ali. Raza Ali, if you ask me, changes teams faster than Jennifer Lopez changes husbands. If you look at Jennifer Lopez, the first time she got married to some guy, then she divorced him and then went to some other guy. And then after that, she got married to some other guy. And the fourth guy was Ben Affleck. All right. And they went out for some time and there was this big shining engagement ring. And she went on Oprah and talked about what a big, huge ring it was. And the next thing you know, they split up. And then she went and married, I don't know, Mark Anthony or something. And then she divorced him and went to Casper Spart. And then from Casper Spart, she went to Alex Rodriguez, who everybody knows is a fantastic baseball player. And they were talking about engagement and they were going to get married. And then the pandemic happened and the marriage never happened. And then they split up. And now she's back with Ben Affleck. Well, when I look at Raza Ali,
clearly a man of varied interests, Viju.
When I look at Raza Ali, he was on FHCC. Ehsan Ansari was his captain. And then from Ehsan, he had some problems, whatever issue it is, I do not know. But nevertheless, they split and he went to Canton 11. He plays with Canton 11. Then he goes to TCA Stallions. Then he goes from TCL Stallions, guess what? Back to the Ben Affleck, which is back to Ehsan Ansari and Sterling Strikers. Sterling Strikers is nothing but Canton 11. So if you ask me, and I think Javed is seeing this and he's saying, hallelujah, praise the Lord. This is amazing. This is what somebody needs to tell. I don't know what Raza is looking for, but I honestly feel that when this happens, it's usually a problem with the player, not with the captain. Again, every team has their own unique ways of dealing with things. But if I were to say a sincere advice to Raza Ali, it would be like, well, have a discussion with your captain, say what you expect for yourself, see if he can give that to you, and if you guys can be happy, and then just stay with one team. That's the best way to do things. Jumping from team to team is not good, even though he's a fabulous player, and I'm sure he'll get plenty of interest from a lot of people saying, come and play for us, this, that, and all that. Always the grass looks greener on the other side. But when you get to the other side, it's not so green. So I do not know. But again, it might be a part of the process. I'm not sure what exactly. Maybe it was a part of the problem with the team. I do not know. But when I see that I always feel, well, maybe, the player should have a different set of expectations. You can't blame the captain for everything. I think if you're back with Ehsan Ansari, that means Ehsan Ansari might not have done anything wrong in the first place. But that's what I wanted to this thing. But I think he's an excellent player. As a player, I think he's a fabulous player, both as a batsman, as a bowler. He can do a lot of things, but nice to see him. With regards to the Canton 11 versus Glad's 11, playing 11, I just wanted to highlight Suyo Gupta. That was his first game in a Glad's uniform. He had a fabulous performance, I mean, on the bowling end. He got 5 wickets. He probably should have got a lot more wickets if he would simply take the catches. I think we had a very poor fielding day. I was not happy with the performance of the Glad's team. I'll be the first person to tell you. In fact, last week, somebody asked me who's going to win it all. And if you don't believe me, you can ask Satya. After the game, I sent Satya a scathing text saying that, if you think you're going to win it all, I have news for you. I'll give it to you in writing. This team cannot win everything all because there were too many things which were going wrong. Sure, we did not have certain players and things like that. But you know what? When you're a top team, you should be able to overcome some of these things. But I wanted to give a shout out to 2 guys named Ganesh and Hari Kurada. And last week, Avi was saying, well, Ganesh never plays. Well, guess what? Ganesh played a crucial innings in this game. He not only got to bat, he also got to bowl, but he hit a 6, an effortless 6. And if you ask me, that's the reason we got the bonus. So anytime you think that Ganesh is not a key addition, what people like Ganesh and Hari Kurada do for us is we don't get the best 11 at all points of time. And we probably are also not looking to field the best 11, but these kind of guys are available for us when we need them. When we win a championship or do well, it is because of these kind of players, because they are there whenever you need them. And they also understand that, if everybody is available, they have to probably sit it out and just be cheering for the team. But that's what they do well.
Which unfortunately is what will happen, right? Once your stars all come back. So these guys take you through to the playoffs, but ultimately then it's the stars that come back in. But that's the name of the game. I have no problem with that. I'm just glad to see Ganesh got a chance, and he's justified that. So I'm very happy for him.
Doesn't that happen to the Indian cricket team or the Pakistan cricket team? I mean, that goes right. I mean, a person is injured and he comes back. He's a premium player. Where Jasprit Bumrah is injured, he comes back. Bumrah is going to walk into the team. I mean, that's the nature of the game. But I think you got to understand every player has a role. And what is your role? Maybe your role is to rotate the singles. Maybe you are a boom, boom, boom hitter like Maulik Patel. But you understand what your role is and play it all. But coming back to that, I just wanted to say that. But I also wanted to give a shout out for Javed. He really gave us a tough game. I mean, he really managed his team very well.
Yep.
If you saw the game, it was an afternoon game. People are tired. But he came to play and he gave us a fight. And I thought for him, a guy named Shivam, a left-arm bowler, he bowled absolutely fabulous. And again, Javed himself bowled very well. So it was nice to see Javed among the runs. I like to see people who are skippers come and perform. So when Yogesh performed, I was really happy. The same thing when Javed performed. I have a lot of respect for that guy. And, he's a nice bloke and he does things well. So I just wanted to give a shout out. But yep, let's go on.
So one thing observed was like I saw Arjun open, and that I don't know if that's happened before, but this is the first time maybe I'm noticing. Is that something which is the order of things going forward? Arjun controlling the game from the start?
It's like this. Both Arjun and Ronak like to go one down. All right. So now the problem is Arjun used to be a one down batsman, and then Ronak came and he started going one down and he started performing. Both of them would like to go one down, and that's the preferred spot. Obviously, only one of them can go. So now, as far as we are concerned, Ronak is available for us every single game. Ronak, he plays, if there are 12 DCL games, he'll probably play 11 out of the 12 DCL games, maybe even 12 DCL games. There is a reason why he won the Best Batsman Award 2 years in a row or 3 years in a row. I forget it right now. But we didn't want to impact Ronak's spot. So it is like one day I did call both of them together at a meeting with the 3 of us. And I told the guys, I need you to figure out who is going one down. You 2 guys discuss this and give me the answer. And whatever you agree, that's what we are going to do. So Arjun, we kind of move him around the spots. It depends upon the situation. So again, this game we felt, okay, let him open the innings and let's see how that goes. Sometimes we bring him 2 down, sometimes we bring him 3 down. Arjun gives us the comfort that as long as Arjun is there, everybody else knows, yeah, Arjun is there. Opposition knows that.
Yep.
We know that. We feel a lot of confidence, but that's just about it.
Cool. All right. I think the next game was our showcase game of the week. And I'm so happy that I called it, that I, based on my gut and, based on what I felt. And it actually worked out. FCC, if you look at their lineup, they were still missing a lot of players. And the people who actually performed were the Falcon veterans, Sainath, Shrikant, Vadnala. Those were the guys who actually got them to even a score of 59 and got Dynamites out for cheaply at 64. But I think, to be honest, I knew this was going to happen. I think a new team, with coming through the merger, it's always difficult to get the perfect 11. You got to kind of handle personalities, handle different, and with Vadnala now starting in the captain's role, he does need, the respect and the consensus from amongst his other teammates as well, who earlier belonged to FCC. But I guess, Dynamites, again, I think what I've seen in FCC over a period of time is, I think there are a few teams like FCC who haven't kind of graduated from, the old style of DCL where occupying the crease was, the big thing. I think with this new ball and with IPL and, the T10 league and, people have started to become more aggressive. You see the average scores in the last few years have really gone up. It's the trajectory is always up, but still I see FCC time and again, they've kind of always come back to that old thing of let's play the 25 overs. Our best bet is to play 25 overs and get as many as possible. And in that scenario, they end up scoring around 65, 70, and that's not going to win you matches. Now with this new ball, things, there are power hitters. They can easily cross the line. And you need, I think the average par score is now around 90 to 100. Anything below that, you need an exceptional set of bowlers. You need to control your wides, and then only you can even think about winning it. So from my analysis, again, FCC, I think they dug a hole for themselves, chasing score of 64, too slow. And then I think if you look at it, they ran out of overs. They were, they needed 13 runs in the last over. So again, they should probably think about how they want to kind of change the attitude, change the style of cricket, and adapt to the newer way of how DCL is going around.
Avi, here on this one, I thought this was the showcase game of the week. It really lived up to its billings. Both teams came to give a performance. When I saw that Dynamite scored 64 odd runs, I didn't think they would be able to defend it. I was thinking, okay, I got this. I call this right. You get my point? And by the way, Parthiv changed this at the last minute. He had picked FCC, and on the show, he changed it from FCC to Dynamites. But everybody else had picked it FCC. Even Parthiv had picked FCC. But coming back to it, coming back to the game, I think Amrit and Arun batted well for Dynamites. But I think the Falcon players really played well. And I know Falcons 9 players joined this FCC team. But if you ask me, there's only 3, maybe 4. I thought there was only 3. 3 of the Falcon players only played in it. And I think the remaining 8 players were from FCC. But the Falcon players played outstanding. You can't put a blame against any one of them because they all came and they played and they performed. It is the FCC guys who have been playing for FCC for ages. All the FCC players, barring Pana, really did not perform. Pana performed well, but now then the question then becomes, are these FCC players not good enough? And I'll say, I do not agree with that because I took some of the same FCC players, Tejas, Pana, Teju, and a few others, and won a few Tana Cup. We've added some Glatz players, and we had 5 or 6 FCC players and 5 or 6 Glatz players. And we won the whole thing against all kinds of mighty opposition. So Are these guys not good enough? No, they are really good enough. They should be this thing. But somehow in this game, none of them produced. And this would be a challenge for Venkat Vatnala as to how he is going to get the best out of it. Because I remember when Panna played for me, I knew what role Panna had to play. And I go and talk to him and I say, Panna, this is what I expect and this is what I want. And he gives me exactly what I want. And I had no complaints. Exactly, everybody knew. I go to Tejas, this is what I want. This is how you're going to do it. No complaints, no this thing, no backbiting, no talking back, nothing. One decision is made and that decision. And I think Venkat will do that. And I think it's just early figuring it out. But I thought he will figure that out for this one. But I can't blame Venkat for this because captain can only go so far. It is for the rest of the players also have to rally around him and do something. If only
so
three.
I thought you were heading in the direction of saying it's probably just it was just bad leadership, maybe or
no,
maybe
it's not. No,
not understanding his team's strengths and weaknesses enough since it's still early days.
Well, you are having 8 players from FCC, and if all of them are not producing, with the exception of Panna, what is Venkat supposed to do? I mean, I honestly felt that he did not get enough support from anybody other than Panna. But I thought, with regards to bowling, I thought the 2 guys, Prakash and Rajkumar, they bowled really well for Dynamites. I haven't seen them, so I really can't comment on their bowling styles. It was luck or is it really outstanding bowling? I'm thinking it was outstanding bowling because if you look at their figures were outstanding. But if you remember Titanic and you thought that the Titanic was unsinkable and they called it the unsinkable ship. And then it ran into a glacier and then the Titanic sunk to the bottom of the Atlantic. And it's the same thing which happened with FCC. I mean, all of us were on board with FCC with the exception of Partha, who changed it at the last minute. Good for him. But we thought that FCC can't lose this game. And FCC, by the way, beats the, if I remember Vatnala telling us on the last show, he said that, or maybe it was Vijay Shanmugam, sorry, it was Vijay Shanmugam who said on the last show that they had already seen them once before in the spring tournament and they had lost to these same FCC guys. So for Vijay Shanmugam to come now and turn the tables, he was the biggest winner of this showcase game of the week. He was general. I said he needed to be General Patton last week. He was General Patton and plus Albert Einstein combined into one. General Patton and Einstein. He did not play himself. He did not play Suresh Babu. He's another very good player. He brought in some additional players, including a visiting players. He was General Patton and Einstein combined into one. He looked like a genius and he made my mate Parthiv look like Einstein ka baap. And so if I had to borrow a line or from the Chennai Super Kings, whistle podu baby. Okay, so you got the point. But
yes,
Vijay Shanmugam, hats off to you.
Well, congratulations to Vijay, and we just hope we hope for Venkat's sake that him and his team can bounce back.
Yeah,
so
Vijay actually had texted.
Let's go to the next one.
Vijay actually had texted me saying that the show actually worked in their favor. They the fact that he was 4-1 down in the analyst prediction, that actually got the team pumped up. So I think kudos.
Now Vijay Shanmugam will say, I want to come on the show every week if I'm going to get the same results. But yeah, we enjoyed having Vijay Shanmugam. Yep, it was good.
All right, moving on. Next game.
I think the next game was as we talked about the clash of the basement. Who's going to be the king of the basement? This match got over. I think before even I think 10:40 or 10:50. I saw it by 11 o'clock. The game was over. I think both teams played a shy of 10 and a half overs. The scores were like 24 and 26. Really, like Safaris, even though they won the toss, batted, they weren't able to get any momentum going. Safaris has been in DCL for quite a few years now, and somehow they've always, firmly occupied the basement. They haven't been able to kind of get out and express themselves, or even got like talent over a period of time growing, so that we can expect the team to build. I know we've had instances like Rising Stars, even Pokeries for that example. When they came in, they were pretty naive, and then over a period of time they built a squad which is challenging the title every year. So I haven't seen that coming from Safaris. They've been, I think, roughly this is their 4th year or 5th year, if I'm not mistaken. But again, there hasn't been any improvement. Thunderbolts, on the other hand, brand new team, as we had predicted. They didn't have to do much, but I guess somehow they were able to get the runs in board, and I'm hoping that they get challenged in the next game. Again, a sorry state of affairs between the two teams, I guess.
Right. All right.
Avi, I know that we are running short on time, and I already got your text saying that we need to move faster. So I'm going to pass on the color commentary on this one.
Okay. I think the result was colorful enough, wasn't it?
Yeah, but anyway, I had predicted 1 will beat 0, but obviously mathematics has no business on the cricket ground, and the Safaris proved me wrong. So, okay, let's move on.
All right. So the next one I have on my list is the Blasters taking on Agni. Again, we are all talked about Blasters. There's a side to watch out this year. They brushed aside FCC Agni altogether. Great to see my old buddy Jagan performing among the wickets. And Mahesh, if people who have don't know Mahesh Mutiala, he's one of the nicest guys in DCL. If you ever come across him, he's always smiling. He always has jokes to share. I remember he was in the DCL captains group, I think a few years ago, and he always had a witty joke or a remark to share. And somehow he was always reprimanded for using that group to share jokes. But I on the other hand always enjoyed. So
yeah, Parthiv, it's not just you. I also enjoyed his jokes. Okay, but there are some captains, they don't have something called a funny bone in them. Everything they take it very seriously. I have no idea why, but anyway, I enjoyed Mutiala. I in fact used to save Mutiala's jokes, so it's something I miss is Mutiala in the captain's group. Yes.
On the FCC side, Agni side, I think the fact that one person scoring 45 and the team score being 73 with 10 extras, there itself is the story. None of the batsmen except for Mohan, I think he scored 45, top scored 45 out of the 73. Which made them even look decent as a score of 70, 73. But I'm guessing Ramesh must be telling his teammates in the dressing room, just like that ad, isko dekho Sharma ji ke bete jaisa bano, type, singling out Mohan and telling him like be like him, for people who didn't understand the Hindi translation. But again, Blasters, I'm guessing this is the start of things to come. They didn't have to sweat it out really. 73 runs, they chased it easily in 11 overs, and had a lot of time to spare. So they've already shouted out their war cry. They've already started, to tell DCL, look at us. So I'm guessing this is just the start of Blasters.
Avi, I would say that Agni versus Blasters, that's what the game says, but it was more like Mohan versus Blasters. If I had something for Agni, please change this Mohan's, put his last name there. It looks very unprofessional to put certain Mohan with certain numbers. In fact, the DCL committee should not even allow this nonsense, if you ask me, because we need to know who is this player. You get my point? I don't know his last name, and his last name is some numerical digits. Come on, man.
But Beverly Hills 90210 or something.
But anyway, coming back to this thing, but you guys know this, right? In the sense that, there was a cat, and this cat was eating a lot of mice. And the mice got together one day and said, this cat is a huge nuisance for us. We need to do something about it because he's coming at odd times and just, one by one, our brethren are all disappearing from the face of the earth. So then finally they said, they had a brainstorming session and they said, what do we do? And so they said, well, one mouse got up and said, you know what, I know exactly what we need to do. We need to put a bell on the cat so that every time the cat comes, we know where the cat is. And that will allow us to go all around and immediately take cover. And they said, everybody said, brilliant idea, brilliant idea. Well, guess what? Then finally one mouse said, well, who's going to put the bell on the cat? Well, on game day, you know what? Ramesh asked the question, who is going to put the bell on the cat? And the next thing you know, only Mohan raised his hand to put the bell on the cat. But when Mohan went to put the bell on the cat, all the other mice disappeared into the hole. And it was just Mohan there. And poor Mohan had to bell this cat. And guess what? He found out to his horror, it is not one cat, but two big fat cats. And they made mincemeat of Agni and this thing. And the two big fat cats were Avnesh and Mahesh Mutiala, my friend. The two big fat cats from Blasters blasted Agni. Game, set, and match, Blasters. Let's move on.
I think the next game we have is the UCA Patriots game. This for some reason it's difficult for me to understand. UCA playing their first game, probably they didn't have their homework done correctly. They won the toss and elected to bowl. Really, I mean, who bowls in your first game in a brand new league? You haven't done your homework. You probably want to kind of bat first, get some runs, and then put the pressure. That's basically how you would go about if you were starting your first game in the league or even the first game of the season. You just want to get the confidence first before you start to kind of take that, the onus of chasing, which requires a lot more confidence. So for some reason, UCA elected to bowl. Patriots piled on. They made 153. And after that, 153 in 25 overs in DCL conditions is obviously going to be an uphill task. Naresh carried his bat pretty much, I think, through the innings. A solid 81, which basically propelled them to that 150 score.
And 10 after sixes in that 81. So if you look at it, that's how lopsided the scoring opportunities are. Yeah. Or the scoring deliveries, rather, I should say.
Yeah, so I think the UCA were folded, dead and buried after Patriots piled on their score. They managed to score 70, but once you have that mammoth score chasing, you are basically going to never be able to come out of it. Your shoulders drop, and you're never in the game after that.
The point I was trying to make there was, though, so he's still taken 67 balls to score his 81. So does that indicate a unidimensional approach? Sure, the 10 sixes came off that day. How many times is it going to come off? So sometimes so say if Naresh someday finds himself not able to get going and somehow the ball doesn't quite come onto the bat as well, then how will he adapt? That was
I think my reply is sometimes it's just your day. I've seen even in the international cricket, when it's your day, you tend to kind of I'm going to occupy the crease, I'm going to hit the runs, and pretty much everything is flying off the bat. So you are less worried about taking the singles and running and wasting your energy in the singles and the doubles. You are more content on give me the strike, I will hit it out of the park. So I think that is what must have happened with Naresh as well. Like, he must be seeing the ball as a football, to be honest, to have 10 sixes and a boundary in that 81, and then still using 67 balls. So he must be just waiting for that ball to hit it out of the park.
Yogesh probably thinking that's the guy I need to hire into KRCC next. But
Avi, on this game, I want to do a pass. Again, we are running out of time, and I think we have to cut short some of our comments probably. But I want to say Naresh Sundar, I mean, what an innings. 81 in 67 balls, 1-4 and 10 sixes. 64 of the 81 runs in boundary. Holy moly, that's all I can say. Absolutely fabulous innings. Too good. Just have to say too good.
Absolutely.
The next one, I think, was the game of the week for my sake. It was Brownstown take on Detroit Bulls. And again, this was another one which I predicted probably changed on the show itself after seeing Brownstown and looking at how they play. It kind of started to reflect on me. Brownstown is probably a replica of Pakistan team. If you look at their World Cup performances or any of their tournaments, they are always slow starters. They are always slow in their tracks, lazy to kind of start off. They always have the first couple of games where they're still looking like somebody's woken them up 5 a.m. in the morning. But once they are into the track, once they're into the tournament, midway through the tournament, that's where they wake up, and that's where they take things into control, and then they play like tigers. So the same thing has happened, this year as well. Brownstown, again, not having their best side, probably folded very easily to Detroit Bulls. Detroit Bulls, on the other hand, again, solid performance by the entire team to actually get Brownstown out in that pottery score of 58, and then pretty much chasing it effortlessly. Like, they lost 4 wickets, but if you look at the scoreboard, it was you could say it was a comfortable chase. I don't think at any point in their chase they looked like they were going to be in trouble. The opening partnership itself was was pretty around 30 odd, I guess, with Bharat and Arjun both contributing, both having double figures. So all in all, I think a satisfying performance for Detroit Bulls and the new captain Tanuj. I think he starts really well in his new season as captain, and Detroit Bulls should be looking forward for more wins like that.
So that's an interesting point that Satya has just made. So did Brownstown actually end up having 12 people bat?
That is news to me.
So clearly a huge lapse on the part, I would say, more of the Detroit Bulls, who were quite content to have another batsman bat for the opposition. I don't know if it was just an oversight by the Brownstown team, or maybe...
I think it's a glitch in the scorecard. I really doubt if they had 12 players batted. I think.
Hey, Satya, who is the host who has stopped my video? Can you please leave my video on?
Oh, I think maybe that Farhan Patel probably was not part of batting. So of maybe did not.
Yeah, one of these two, Farhan Patel or Ophir.
Right.
Yeah, either one of them were not, and it looks like Farhan Patel because it's 0 balls faced. So.
Right. All right.
Viju, any color commentary here?
I do. So you can see my face, right?
I was wondering what's
and I don't know why the host stopped this thing, but I had my choice comments. Choice comments, baby. Choice comments for this game, because Brownstown has really made me mad. And so, you know what? Let me start. And so it's going to take me some time. I don't want anybody interrupting me. I went from Detroit to San Francisco, and I don't like flying out of Detroit Metro because every time I have to go 2 hours in advance. So I like to fly out of Flint. And so I fly Flint, I'm in and out in 45 minutes, an hour kind of a thing. And I really like flying out of Flint. But I booked my flight and I found that, you know what, they send me from Flint to Atlanta and Atlanta to San Francisco. Well, Flint to Atlanta, they gave me peanuts on the flight. I went all the way from one coast to the other coast, and all I got is peanuts. Well, that's exactly what happened this week. I was sitting on top of the double-decker bus, which I talked about. You see, I went to the double-decker bus. I sat on top of the double-decker bus. In London, you have these double-decker bus with an open top, and they serve you food. And I said I was getting on the double-decker bus, which Rashid is driving, and Rashid is the conductor. And we are having, Mansab Butt, who is driving the bus and things like that. And on the top of this thing, Rashid takes me, come on, Viju bhai, come over. Let me show you the buffet spread, which is out there. I look at the buffet spread. There is roasted bone marrow, and there is 14-aged dry lamb, and there is karai gosht, and there is rack of lamb, and, all kinds of succulent dishes. And my mouth is watering, and Yogi also probably can understand how my mouth waters. And there is, when it comes to the dessert menu, man, don't even parthiv pooch mat yaar, pooch mat. That was like strawberry panna cotta, and there was classic chocolate mousse and gooey chocolate chantilly and all kinds of things. So I took my stop under this thing, and Rashid passes me peanuts. And he says, please have some peanuts. So I thought, okay, yes, he's probably passing me peanuts for an appetizer. Long day, I did not know that this is the buffet spread which these Bulls guys had spread. I thought this is the buffet spread which Brownstown had spread. So I am sitting there, and then I noticed that these Bulls guys come and they take out all the air out of the double-decker bus. And I'm mocking them, saying that you think that is going to stop Brownstown? Man, they can drive the bus without anything. What I did not know was, I looked at this, I was watching this game live. I looked at the roster. Oh, where is Mr. Mansab Butt? Not there. Where is Adnan? Not there. Where is Talal? Not there. Instead, I'm seeing a bunch of names which I don't even recognize. And I see that the diesel engine is there, but there is no diesel. The diesel is there supplying the diesel to some other diesel engine in some other part of the state of Michigan, playing Mishka or something like that. And I'm looking at this, and Guess what? The diesel engine is stuck. And the next thing I know, Gino loves throwing these snowballs in snow time. And I'm thinking, man, I see Gino coming with a lot of white stuff. I'm thinking, what is this white stuff? Long behold, I find that it is a bunch of cow dung which is being thrown at my face because I had picked Gino and the Bulls to win this all. And here it is my face, this thing. And I'm thinking, why is this thing white in color? And Gino says, you know what? When we do flatulence, our flatulence doesn't stink. And I've heard that business before. My flatulence doesn't stink. But you know what? Cow dung is cow dung, man. It just tastes like yuck. Let me tell you something. It tastes absolutely yuck. These bull droppings is all I got on top of that double-decker bus. These guys, I don't know. I mean, Gino is like the wall of the Bulls batting. And, if you give him a small target, 60 runs, 70 runs to chase, I'm telling you, he's one of the toughest batsmen in DCL to get out. And I have found that the hard way. We set a target of 85 or 90, and this guy comes there and occupies the crease. And Rashid found the same thing. It's difficult to get him out. And so they had the Bulls, Alipur and Gino taking them all the way. And then Gino got out only at the end, but it was great batting by them. Brownstown, they did nothing. Honestly, I had somebody text me from the game and say, Rehan Bukhari is there, and Rehan Bukhari is not going to like this. But here is the thing. Rehan Bukhari, if you go to the 2008 DCL finals, was Brownstown's best player. He was the MVP of that final. GLCC had played a fabulous final, and Abhishek Twinmaster had a fabulous game. And in fact, that game ended with a 6 from Samish. And I was there to watch that game. But the man who really took Brownstown to the second championship, which they won in 2008, was Rehan Bukhari. He bowled well, he batted well. But you guess what? I have this phone to prove me right. The text I get back is, Rehan Bukhari is there at the game. I said, Rehan Bukhari is there. He'll still win them the game. He said, you should see Rehan Bukhari. He is double pregnant. I'm looking at the text and I'm like, what are you talking about? He says, yep, double pregnant. That's exactly what it is. He was a great player. I went back and looked at some of the stats. Rehan Bukhari has not been pulling his weight. And you know what? Rehan Bukhari can get mad. Then he's probably going to call his captain and complain about me. I care 2 hoots. You get my point? Here is this thing. My point is, nobody is telling Rehan Bukhari what he needs to hear. Rehan Bukhari is a shell of what he was in 2008. He was a great player. I wouldn't say he's a great player now because he still has the skill level. But you know what? Rehan Bukhari needs to hit the gym. Rehan Bukhari needs to stay off the buffet table, which my friend Gino is spreading out there. He needs to do Rashid a favor. He needs to pull his weight, not pull his weight on the buffet table, but pull his weight on the ground. Come on, man. You're a very good player. What exactly are you performing? You're not performing for your team. And I'm doing Rashid a favor by calling Rehan Bukhari out because guess what? Mansab is a great player and he's performing on the field, and Talal is a great player. He's performing on the field, but Rehan Bukhari is not doing squat. He's doing squat. Go and take a look at this thing. You'll find that the last 2-3 years he has done squat. And the problem is he gets run out. This game, what happened? He got run out. Every time Rehan Bukhari is in the center of the field, throw the ball where Rehan Bukhari is going. You know why? Because he's never going to reach that end. Before he reaches the end, you can get him run out. And guess what? In this game, he got run out. And I am having cow dung on my face. And not just me. All these great gentlemen, with the exception of Parthiv, has cow dung on their face because we all picked Brownstown and the diesel engine to perform. But there was no diesel there. Rehan Bukhari, who was one guy who could have got it done, did not get it done. And he got himself run out. So at this point, I'm very upset with Brownstown. I'm mad as hell because I don't like losing a prediction. But Avi, that's this thing. I honestly feel that Brownstown really killed us. They did not perform like they are capable of performing. And, all this cow dung, it stings and it hurts to have cow dung on our face thrown by Gino and the Bulls. But the Bulls did throw all the bull droppings on our face, with the exception of Parthu, who changed his pick at the last minute. I'm mad at him. Who asked him to change the pick at the last minute? He should also be having this bull dropping on his face. I'm sorry, but you know what? I mean no offense against Rehan Bukhari. He's a very good player, but Let's be honest. Let's call it for what it is. He has not been performing, and nobody on his team is telling him that he's not performing because they probably don't want to say. But deep down, Rashid is probably saying, man, somebody needed to tell this. Even though publicly he'll say, no, I don't agree with anything what Viju has stated. Yeah, he can state all that. But you know what? The truth of the matter is somebody needed to say it, and I said it. There you go.
Well, if that doesn't exhort Brownstown to hit back hard, I don't know what will. But
you know what, Avi? They might hit it against Glads itself and kill us again out of the playoffs. That's what Mansa Bhatt and Adnan did to us last time around. Right? You get my point? But it's okay. That's fine. If Rehan Bukhari comes and performs against it, I'll respect him for that. That's great. Good job, man. It's as simple as that.
Great. Well, at this point, I'd like to welcome our other guest, Nitin. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And and before we go on, Yogesh, please feel free, and Nitin, you as well. If at any point of time you think something happened in one of these games that wasn't quite what you guys expected, or you think something was exceptional, please feel free to chip in. You are our guest for tonight, and we don't just want to keep rambling on and just leave you guys hanging out there. So, well, first of all, welcome, Nitin. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you, Avi, and thank you, Viju. Thank you, Parthiv, Satya, for inviting us. So we are looking forward for this prime time. Feeling nervous.
Great. Yeah. Awesome. And we will come to your game of this weekend in a bit. So, Parthiv, if we can try and go through the rest of the games. Yeah. I know we have a couple of other topics to discuss as well. So.
Sure. Yeah, I'll go through it quickly. So next game, I think Punjab Warriors. And again, this was Bale time. Really, the Punjab Warriors, Singh is still the king. The 100-run opening stand. And you should see, like I was following the game. One of my umpires was there and he told me it's raining sixes here. And he basically said in Hindi, bari se sab log maar rahe. People are just taking turns to hit. Right. It was that kind of a batting performance.
Bari se bhi mara aur bhari bhi mara.
Yes. So it was like lining up to actually, I'm going to actually hit it. So it was like that kind of a batting performance. Another 50 posted by one of the debutants, Arminder. And all in all, I mean, they just cleaned Micah up. Never give them a chance. Scoring 190 in your first game in the first season, that is definitely a big warning sign. And Pool C, if it wasn't already interesting, Punjab Warriors have made it even more interesting now. Announcing their arrival, so it's going to be really interesting. Next, I think it'll be interesting to see when they play GLCC, Glads, some of the bigger teams as to how they perform.
And it's amazing how many power hitters have come into this game ever since we changed especially to a harder ball. And that seems to have benefited all these new players coming in that simply don't think twice about swinging the long handle, and to great effect. So it's something that some of the other teams have to catch up with.
Avi, coming back to the Punjab Warriors versus Micah DHM, I only picked the Warriors only because I have a Sardar in my team. I went with the Sardar brand. And I'm so happy I picked the Sardar brand because they really performed really well. I thought Indrapreet, Amrinder, Gagandeep, and Manjinder, they had fabulous games. But guys, does anyone know what does Micah DHM stand for? What does Micah DHM stand for?
Yeah, I actually came across one guy and I asked him, Micah stands for Michigan International Cricket Association. And I asked him specifically, what do you mean international? Why the word international in there? And he had no answer. But basically,
and what about DHM?
DHM is their sponsor. It's the Direct Home Mortgage Company.
Avi, Parthiv, if you had not told me this, after seeing this performance, you know what I would have said Micah DHM stands for? I would have said that Micah DHM stands for mediocre, incompetent, cricketing athletes who got drubbed, hammered, and massacred. Okay, that's what happened in this game. Punjab Warriors came and drubbed them and hammered them and massacred them. That's what DHM stands for. Because you know what, you're doing a disservice to your mortgage company because if this is how you're going to play. I think GLCC plays them this week. If GLCC wins the toss, guys, I'm writing it down. 300 runs is on the scoreboard. All right, They're going to break the 300-run barrier. I called it first before any Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Absolutely.
But that's it. I'm done with that. I have nothing more to say about games which are not.
And it
actually
works into the next game. GLCC played AR Phantoms, and it was pretty much the same thing which happened. But GLCC again won the toss, elected to bat, and hammered AR Phantoms, to submission. 259 in their first game. Abhishek, again, I want to give a big shout out to Abhishek. He's another stalwart of DCL, been there, done it many times. One of the nicest bloke around. 9 sixes and 4 boundaries on his way to 89. Once they posted 259, obviously with the kind of attack and the experience with GLCC has, AR Phantoms really had no clue. But one thing I want to call out, another umpire of mine was on this game, and he was astonished and quite surprised with the spirit with which AR Phantoms played. Even though they were being hammered and they gave away quite a few extras, wides, no balls, never once did they actually question the umpire or did they show like they were down and out. They played with the same zeal throughout the game. So want to really commend AR Phantoms. I know it's a first game, a tough start, but like I said before, teams have done that. Pokies were hammered, Rising Stars were hammered, and they are now where they are. They are teams to reckon with. So don't lose hope. There's definitely going to be more better things as you get more experience with
and
the league.
Yes, on balance, it seems like a pretty bad loss, which it probably is. But the fact that they've managed to get into 3 figures on their first game is still commendable. So I think AR Phantoms can still hold their chins up and come back strongly next game.
Yep.
Part on this GLCCR Phantoms game, all I can say is the Phantom is at the bottom of the Marina Trench, and that's not where you can play cricket. So they need better performance, but it's good to know that they have the right spirit. But right spirit doesn't win you games. Also, right spirit is good, but you know what? We need to better performance. Otherwise, teams are just going to put record upon record kind of a thing. But hopefully they'll improve soon.
Right. The next game, I'm kind of hoping we can bring in Yogesh's perspective, because it does involve his own team. So Spartans KRCC.
Yeah, I'll let Yogesh go first before I bring in my comments. Yogesh, you want to throw some light on the game?
Yogi, you're on mute.
Do we still have Yogi? Yeah.
Yep. Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, so we lost the toss and Spartan chose to bat. We bowled pretty well. Gaba, taking 5 wickets, awesome bowling. And Sahesh, everybody, left arm pacer Sahesh bowled pretty well. Satish Gaba and the Magician, got only 3 overs, but bowled pretty well. And then the spinners, both the spinners, Omi and Vihar, bowled exceptionally well. Then we have a new addition, pace battery, Jash Patel. We gave him just 1 over, first game in DCL, but hopefully he does better in the future games. But overall, we gave, it was tight spell, 7 extras we gave. The bowling was pretty good. In the batting, the opening was pretty good. Kundan and Prajbal, they scored some big hits, I think 21 and 10. But on the way to 70, I think we lost a few extra wickets. That's what it looks like. Lesson to be learned, score like that, we have to finish, with losing less wickets and, cross the finish line earlier. But Gabaji was a man of the match, like a perfect platform he gave.
Yeah, I like basically, add, yes, Satish has had a, all-round performance, batted to get KRCC through, took 5 wickets, again, took out the bowlers. And, with the kind of attack they have with Sahesh opening, with Satish, with Jasneet around the corner. And, as Yogesh mentioned, they have a new fast bowler, Josh. So I think it's looking very exciting for KRCC, to be honest, with the batting they have. And if they can support it with the bowling, they have a very good chance of Viju growing a mustache.
Right.
All right. Well, I think that's good enough color there. I think you guys both have covered it, so I'll pass.
Right. Next game is Dark Horses versus Thunders.
Yeah, so I think this game, we are all predicted Indus Thunders. I think that it was a 5-0 prediction. Indus Thunders, as a champion team does, won the toss and elected to bowl. I think they are the only team who actually can actually have the confidence to do that. I think Rahul Bhandari played well. Really carried the bat all through the innings. He opened and basically, when I think it was his last or the second last wicket to get out. But apart from him, no one really posted or no one really stuck. Even though Indus had their second, probably I would say second tier bowling attack with Dinesh and Manoj and some of those guys missing. It was basically their second tier attack. And in the bowling, and in the batting, sorry, Verma, I've seen that dude. He's really a dasher. He reminds me of Virendra Sehwag, really. I mean, the first ball he sees, he wants to hit it out the ground. I've seen him. So it's always a hit and miss for him. He either can take the game away from you in a canter, or he's going to go out. He's not going to waste his time trying to score singles and doubles. So if he stays there, I think that's what happened. They finished it in double quick time, even before I think the drinks break. So it's going to be difficult looking at Indus Thunders. They already look like very ominous. And I think next week, I think they have a bye week. So it might be the best time for people to take some vacation and time off. So if Indus players' wives are listening, then this is the best weekend to plan a trip.
No surprises here, Ravi. Thunders, according to me, right now after week 1 is the best team in the league on my list. I think GLCC is the second best team in the league as of right now, at least on my list. I personally have dropped the Glads after the last performance, but I can at least think of 4 teams who are better than Glads at this point of time. But other than that, I don't have anything much to say on this game. Yeah. I know we are running short of time, so I'm trying to cut my thing as short as possible.
I appreciate that. Yes, because we do have some at least one interesting topic to discuss, which is coming up following all this. So, and I'm sure our guests would also like to have an opinion on that. So,
right. So I think the last game of the week was the Legends versus the Hitmen. Again, I don't want to go into too much, but the interesting fact is they play again this week as well. So they have round 1 and round 2. So both teams kind of play again this week with the way the pools are set up. They belong to Pool B, where each team plays another team twice. But this is happening like the following week itself. So they're playing successive weeks against each other. So Hitmen will get another chance to come back at the Legends. Legends won this one comfortably, but I'm sure Hitmen will come back and hopefully give them at least some run for their money. So, but I
like that video snippet that showed up at the top right. That was nice.
Did you see the video?
No, I don't think I did.
Okay, well, because if you had said it that you saw it, then I would have asked some more additional questions. That video snippet doesn't work. If you are Satish Belamakunda and if he has spent money giving to cricket clubs to make it work, here is news for you. I was watching that game live. Every 30 seconds, 1 minute, it just freezes. I have to again hit refresh and I have to again click onto this thing, press on play, it again starts playing. And every time it mutes itself. So I can't even hear the sound. This video simply does not work. And so if you're Satish Belamakunda, I want a refund. That's what I'm telling cricket clubs. After seeing that, I told Satya, there's no way in hell we are paying even 1 cent to get this video snippet working for us. We are not going to do it. It just simply doesn't work. I think every time the page refreshes, the video stops. And so I did this about 35 times. My patience to just watch a DCL game, and that was the only game which was live. And after some time, I just gave up. And I did watch KK bat and I did watch some of them bat and things like that. But finally, I gave up. I can't keep on refreshing. But Philip Thomas sent me a video, very clear video. And I don't know how he did it, but it was a very clear video. I was very happy to see him play He's a very good friend of mine off the field. I'm talking about excellent person, but
yes, I agree.
Genuinely good dude. You get my point? He's a
yes.
Great addition to DCL in terms, not as a cricket player, but as a person. He's a very nice person. And I know that last week I said Hitman ko goli mar, but I was very impressed with the Hitman. I thought that they did a fabulous job in this game. So I think Sai Pratap Sakineni is a very good player. I've seen him play for Blues before. He performed very well against us. So I always been impressed with his batting. Once again, he performed very well in this game. So Blues have a very good player in him. So that's about it.
I believe that brings us to the end of this particular segment, doesn't this, Parthiv? I believe that was all the games that you had for today.
Absolutely.
From this week. So one thing about that video clip, because this will lead into our next segment, some of us were desperately, I know, trying to take some snapshots of that jersey from that video clip, because we had some questions on the way the Pokiris jersey turned out, the design, so to speak, even though we had a hand in the design. But so this leads into our what I expect to be an interesting topic of discussion for today. Looks like a lot of the teams aren't quite satisfied, and we have a couple of members from the DCL community here, from the DCL committee here, who could probably try and vouch from the committee's side. But looks like quite a few teams aren't very happy, particularly with the sizes of the jerseys that they've received. So clearly something has gone wrong with either the order or something at the supplier's end. So I know, Viju, you mentioned that a couple of folks had sent in videos, and we'll have our guests. I think they've already played games this past weekend, as we saw. So they'll probably have an opinion on this, on their personal experience as well, if they use those jerseys. But looks like it's kicked up a bit of a storm.
It sure did, Ravi. And so I had a couple of videos sent to me. One was a video which was made by the Thunderbirds. I forgot the name of the gentleman. Does somebody know it? I think Devnath or somebody like that was the gentleman.
Vinod,
is it? Okay, I thought it was Devnath. I could be wrong, but I thought, anyway, I thought its name started with a D. But I got that video forwarded to me, and I was asked, can I discuss this on the DCL primetime show, because the gentleman who sent it in wanted this topic to be addressed, because apparently it was becoming a laughing joke all across DCL because of the some people were blaming the DCL committee, some people were blaming Kamal, some people were just mad that the t-shirts did not fit. And maybe since many people do not know what are we talking about, I have asked Satya to roll that video. So Satya, can you roll that video? And then I'll give my comments on my take on that. I don't hear an audio.
So different from the jerseys that we have ordered. And yeah, so this video is not to offend anyone. We're just trying to show the dimensions that actually is a little different from what we have ordered. So this is my personal jersey, and I just used it for yesterday's game. And the size that I've selected is AM. So the AM and the chest size is 40. And let's measure what's actually the size in the jersey. So I'm going to measure from this corner to the other corner. It's actually only 19 here. So it should have to be 20 for if I'm just measuring the half size. It's falling short by 1 inches, which is going to be 2 inches short, which is only 38 on the chest. And especially when I wore this jersey, I had a problem. I can't rotate a shirt because I'm actually a bowler.
Wow, I don't think you can get more irrefutable proof than that, can you?
Just after using it just for a game, I saw that all the stitches came out. Even in the video that I got from my captain for the FCZ jersey, even that I saw a few stitches that came out even before that was shipped. So these are the little discomforts. And the one other thing I would like to spot is the material is not stretching. So that is also something that we are actually having a difficulty, because jerseys are meant to stretch. It's not stretching. So that is also giving a feel of uh, of actually a little tightness. So that's another thing. And I have a few jerseys that I have used in the past, which is of the same size, and that's stretching well. You see, this is one example where the material is stretching very well, which even if it is, this jersey is also fitting me very, very well. It's not loose or anything, but it fits me right, but it's stretching, so I can't feel the discomfort. And the other jersey I want to share is this, which is also stretching very well. You see this? I'm just not giving too much effort. It's stretching. So even this is also the same size, medium. And I just measure like 40 on the chest.
Right, Avi, let me continue on this one. I think the video is very well done in the sense that he has covered the most important points. He has put out a measurement out there. He has told the problems with the jersey with regards to it not stretching and things like that. So I thought the gentleman who did it really did a very perfect job, at least which would hold up in a court of law. You know, that's the kind of evidence which you need. But let me ask a question. If I went into JW Nordstrom or Neiman Marcus and I bought a shirt and it doesn't fit me or the quality is not up to the mark, I have the full right to go and return it and get a full refund. And I believe that, maybe Satya and Parthiv can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is kind of what the facts, not these two gentlemen have given me, but some of the information which I got from other sources which have been communicating with me. What I was told was,
and we have two people right here. I mean, was that your experiences as well, guys? Yogesh and Nitin? Is that something you guys have come to?
Avi, let me finish my train of thought. I was talking on this thing. After that, so my point here is that what needed to happen was that what I was told, and they can correct me if I'm wrong with regards to the sequence of events, because I was not part of the decision making this thing. But what I was told is that Kamal came and told them, hey, I'll give you X amount of dollars. And for the record, we did invite Kamal to come on the show so that we wanted to give him a fair platform where he can defend an opportunity, because he can explain things from his side. Because I didn't want him to get hammered in the court of public opinion without having that chance to defend himself and explain what went wrong or what things are and what he's going to do. And I thought that this was a perfect platform. We did extend that invitation, but he said that maybe some other time, and that's kind of where we left it. But coming back to this thing, Kamal went and approached the committee and said, we'll give you X amount of dollars as long as you put the Cushy logo on all the t-shirts. That's fine, perfectly fine. That's what a businessman does, all right? But there was a catch there. The catch was you need to go to his vendor. And if you don't go to his vendor, then it's no deal. Now, I have been in the committee. If the same thing happened when I was in the committee, I would have straight away said, no, we are not going to do that because I do not know your vendor. I would like to know who my vendor is. If you're going to give me X amount of dollars and then you want me to go to your vendor, there must be a reason why you want me to go to your vendor. Obviously, there must be something. You might be getting a discount wherein we are paying 15 bucks a shirt. Maybe you're getting it for 10 bucks. So there is a $5 profit per shirt. I do not know, but that's why we wanted him to come and explain, is that the case? If that, I don't have a problem if that is the case. That's okay. That's what a business is. You get my point? A business is there to make money, not make losses. But okay, he's giving X. So, but then I would have said, you know what, give me X minus Y amount of dollars without that catch, because that's the true amount of sponsorship. To say that I'm getting X amount of sponsorship, that's not true, because you're making me go to your vendor and I'm paying $15 for this shirt. And based on the quality which is displayed, I'm not sure if I would pay $15 for that shirt. But I do believe that the committee blinked. I would say that they accepted the deal and they said, okay, we'll go with your vendor. And the next thing you know, the vendor has, I believe in India, he has shipped it over here. and now things are not fitting. Now, common sense tells me, this insistence by Kamal as that you need to use his vendor, there is certainly something to gain. Either it is a monetary gain, or maybe the vendor is his friend or something like that, and he wanted his vendor to get the business. Whatever it is, we do not know what the reason is. But that itself is a problem. Now, if you ask me, everybody will say, hey, where is the fault? We have Nitin, who's a captain. We have Yogesh, who's a captain. And we have Satya, who's a captain. And Partha, who's a captain. Is it the captain's fault? I would say no, it is not the captain's fault, because they had nothing to do with this. They are not the one who passed on this deal. So who should take the blame? I believe 10% of the fault lies with the DCL committee. Why with the DCL committee? Because they are the ones who decided to go with this particular arrangement. So you made the decision. Guess what? You have to take the heat also. So that's 10% of the fault. I believe 20% of the fault lies with Kamal. Why do I say that? Because he insisted that you have to use his vendor, otherwise no deal. So my point there is that when that happens, then what really happens is that, things go haywire, you see. And so here we have a situation where the things are not working. So now the question is, how do we solve this? We can't go back to the captains and say, you need to pay additional dollars. It's not fair, because they've already paid. In my case, I was the biggest fool in DCL because we ordered more jerseys than every other team. We ordered 35 jerseys. And so, we paid $15 per jersey because we wanted to put our own, a sponsor or something like that. But anyways, what my point is that it doesn't make sense to go back to the DCL captains and ask them to shell out more money. At the same time, should we make Kamal pay for the whole thing? I don't think so, because if you ask me, Kamal was a former DCL player. When you had no sponsors, he came and offered you sponsorship. And true, he offered X amount of dollars, but I think the true sponsorship was X minus Y amount of dollars, because I do not know what is X and I do not know Y. That's why I'm putting it as X minus Y is the true sponsorship. He was the guy who has been the only guy who's willing to sponsor. So you know what? Let's not throw him under the bus. I think that is the easiest thing for everybody to do, is to just throw him under the bus, because I don't think he did it willfully. Yes, the vendor defaulted and the vendors messed things up. So now Kamal needs to go and fight with this vendor, because he's the only contact link between us, and ask him to right the situation. Do I think the situation is going to get righted? I do not think so, because if the vendor is in India, there is no way he's going to come. He'll say, it's too bad, I can't take the loss. So somebody has to take the loss. Now the question is, who takes the loss? My feeling is, because Kamal is involved in it, I think he should at least pitch in 50% of a refund. I don't think we should make him 100% of the refund. The reason I say that is, if you were the businessman, you should always put yourself in the other person's shoes. If I was running a business, or Avi was running the business, and now I have to take the entire hit, and we are talking about, 1,000 t-shirts or whatever it is, we are talking about $15,000 or $7,500. That's a lot of money. So do we want to hit somebody like that, especially when they came and offered the sponsorship? Probably not. So maybe ask him to refund maybe 50% of the thing. And I think he's a very reasonable and fair guy, and I think he will be more than willing and happy to do it. That's my speculation based on what I know of Kamal. I have always had a very good relationship with him, and he's a good businessman, and he's a good dude. And so he will come forward and do things. And you want these kind of partnerships to go in the long run. It's not like I will win this time and make you lose. Can we do a win-win situation which works for all? Yes, we are all in a bad mess. So where should the remaining money come? I don't think it should come from the captains. The DCL committee has access to funds. We have, $20,000, $25,000 excess funds in the bank. The funds needs to come from that. After all, that is the team's money. It's not the committee's money. It's the team's money. We are in a tough situation. Maybe some of the funds from that should come. Maybe we should have one less dish at the DCL night, or we need to go out and find new sponsors for DCL night if you want the same number of dishes. But we'll have to make some sacrifices, and hopefully we can place an order at a new place. And maybe, I do not know how long it will take for a new order to come in, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is. And worst comes to worst, what is this thing? You don't place an order. 24 years, we have played with no jerseys. And if some teams like Legends or Glads or, Canton 11 or some of those guys had jerseys, they went and got private jerseys for themselves. So They went along and did it, and we still continue playing with that. In the 25th year, we play just like how we played the 24 years. If we can't take the financial loss, but I feel that we have enough funds to take that financial hit. Yeah, it's probably going to be $4,000-5,000 hit, or maybe even a $7,000 hit. But we have enough funds, so let's do that. After all, it's the team's money. What are you saving all this money for? Are you trying to make a big investment balance? No. It is for a rainy day, and we are in a rainy day, and that's probably what we have to do. Put yourself in the other person's shoes. Try not to throw everybody under the bus. Yes, things have happened, but certainly not the captain's fault. As I said, this is how I see things. How should you deal with these kind of things in the future? I honestly think what the DCL committee should have not taken responsibility is, yes, I know that they did it with a good intention, that we all want all the t-shirts, all the teams to wear uniforms and play. What they should have said is, you know what, we'll make an arrangement with whoever it is, this vendor number X, and we make an agreement with vendor X. You know what, we have a deal. Our guys are going to come and order t-shirts from you. How much discount are you going to give? Let's say you're going to give 25% discount. We then tell all the teams, you know what, here is the DCL logo. We need that DCL logo on every t-shirt. We don't care whether you order 11 t-shirts or 20 t-shirts or 35 t-shirts or 50 t-shirts. That's your problem. You work with the vendor. If you go to this vendor, he's going to give you 25% discount. It's your choice. You go and work with the vendor, or if you have a better vendor, go with that vendor. But what do we care about? We want the DCL logo on every shirt. This is the logo, and this is what needs to happen. And we have made an agreement with this vendor for this kind of a discount. You get the discount. You have this coupon. It's a win-win situation for everybody. It is not the committee's headache. It is the team's captain's headache to go and get the correct uniforms. You give them sufficient time and say, this is the deadline. By this day, you should have your uniform. Otherwise, you cannot play a game. That's my take on the matter. And I'm sure Parthiv and others probably have additional talks on that.
Yeah, so I'll probably not talk from the committee point of view, because I cannot reveal a lot of the details, but I'll probably talk from a neutral point of view of what I think. So all the points which you made, Viju, are fair. Things happen. Unfortunately, if things were in the right place, if t-shirts were coming out correctly, sizes were correct, I don't think we would have had a discussion. This comes when things go wrong. So yes, we went with a vendor. I think there were a couple of things which are to be taken into account. One is, until April, we weren't even sure that we were going to have a season. With the pandemic, with the COVID, with all those things that were going on, I think it was late March that we actually decided, captain's board, we decided to have the season in the first place. So we are always running behind on time to find, and we wanted to make DCL 25th year a big celebration. And one of the things was having the t-shirts, and the t-shirts, as you mentioned, was because we wanted uniformity. Tournaments where people or teams looked like they were playing a tournament. Otherwise, if we did, we talk about having captains that or autonomy to go out and buy their own t-shirts, but then you're opening out a can of worms. People are going to go to vendors, they're going to demand something differently. You have no control over what's going on between them, the timing, the design, host of other things. So a lot of things were, and even the vendor for that matter, they want to deal with one person. They do not want to deal with 36 people coming to them with different requests, different dimensions, different things. So they want to deal with one person. And so these were some of the things that actually went into play with the things. Yes, there was an issue, as rightly pointed out. We as a committee have known about these issues. We've had discussion with the vendors. So there are ongoing discussions going on. And, I'm pretty sure resolution is going to come soon. But, to be honest, I don't think the committee has ever blamed the captains. We have never really said that, you guys didn't do anything. Yes, we've taken the blame that, the committee will be acting upon it and, working with the vendor. And even Kamal, you're right. He's not at fault. It just happens. Shit happens. There's the famous dialogue, shit happens. So, I consider this unfortunate that, things didn't plan the way it is. But now we need to kind of sit back and figure out how do we get it back. And with time running out, we're already into the second week. So going back and ordering t-shirts, again, that's something which we're discussing. So we'll see how it all plans out.
And, the other thing, Avi, I don't think all the t-shirts are not fitting. You get my point? For example, I'll give you a classical example. I ordered double XL. All right. I am an extra large. I ordered one size up. And now I haven't tried the t-shirt because I'm in India, but whenever I try it, I'm pretty sure it's going to fit, because if I order double XL and it turns out to be XL, well, I probably am going to fit in it. So I don't think 100% replacement is needed. You should ask the honor system and ask each team how many t-shirts is actually affected. Maybe we just only need to replace that many t-shirts. But that's just a thought. But that's
been my experience too. I'm traditionally a small, and that's what I had picked. But Ravi, thankfully, my captain Ravi Narala, he had thankfully the foresight to order, I think, a size or a size and a half larger, and my jersey fits me perfectly. And I don't think even a lack of stretchability is going to be a problem.
So if a jersey fits perfectly, then there shouldn't be no refund. You get my point? This is what it is. This is what it is. So I think you need to go and ask the captains, how many of your guys really need a replacement? And hopefully they will use the honor system and give us a truthful answer. We'll tell them, hey guys, don't just inflate the numbers. Hey, because if we say we want 30 shirts and all 30 don't fit, I don't buy that. I don't think it's all 30 that doesn't fit.
Right.
Yeah, till now, I think what we've heard is, pretty much everybody for every team member is been complaining. So it's not like one t-shirt out of the 20, which is the problem, or two t-shirts out of 20 is the problem. So to be honest, yes, we haven't heard like people taking the pains of actually figuring out that if the t-shirt is manageable, or if that's something which they can continue. It's a blanket statement coming out. So I think that's something which we would want the captains to at least help us getting that data back to the vendor.
Okay, I think we have beaten this horse dead for quite some time. So let's move on.
Right, and I think that pretty much brings us to our final segment. Right, we have the predictions, and at this point, I'd like to mention that our.
But aren't we having Nitin here for the showcase game? Oh, it's coming after the predictions. All right, sorry, yes. Nitin.
Yep. So we have that planned out. No worries. We'll make sure Nitin has his say for having made him sit for this long. Our predictions segment though is very generously sponsored by Green Sapling Eco-Friendly Dinnerware, and I believe they're sponsoring a cash award for the best analyst of the season, which Parthiv, of course, has taken a sizable lead, I suppose, based on last week's prediction performance. Viju, are you trying to say something?
Yeah, Satya, am I right? Did I see the information correct that Green Sapling is sponsoring $251?
Yes, Viju. Chetan just confirmed yesterday that he will sponsor
$251. And Parthiv is going to get that $251. Well, Parthiv, you better take all of us out for dinner. I'm telling you right now.
It's still
if you win it, if I win it, when I come there, I'll take you guys out for dinner, and not just you guys, but probably your kids also, if they are interested.
Parthiv, forget us not, man. We all go together.
Oh, absolutely.
Who is Yogesh? I don't even know Yogesh.
I know. Very soon you will, man.
Still very early days. It's still the host of 12 weeks still left, so lot of predictions to go.
Is the predictions open to other people also, or is just
yes it is open to both you and Yogi today.
All right,
so let's go ahead through the list. I believe Satya, can you pull up the list of the games?
Do you see it?
No,
it's Safaris versus.
I only see some of us in younger.
Oh no! I think it's the logo is at the top. Like that's the one which we are talking about. It's Indus versus Safaris.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think Satya, you probably need to move this for next week to the bottom because it's getting blocked. Anyway, go ahead. I think it's Indus versus Safaris.
Right, Indus versus Safaris. Well, in my opinion, that's a no-brainer. It has to be Indus.
Yes, absolutely. I think Indus. I think this might be a good way for Sandeep to, as I said, take some of his team out on the weekend, have this second-tier team, or give people chances, because I think even their C team can roll Safaris over.
Satya. Satya, it's you.
Yes.
Satya, go ahead.
Obvious. So yeah.
All right.
Satya has already moved himself.
Yeah, he has moved himself. And I'm going to pick Indus. Indus at quarter strength will win this game against Safaris. So nothing much to think about.
Right. And do our guest analysts share the same opinion today?
Yeah, Indus.
Yeah, Indus Thunders, yeah, for sure.
I'd be very surprised if they don't. Yogi, I'm assuming you're picking Thunders as well.
Yes, Indus Thunders, yeah.
All right. Next up is the Raptors, I believe, versus Troy Hawks. And as spirited as Troy Hawks are, and as much as I actually like that team a lot for their demeanor on and off the field, I'm going to have to go with the Raptors on this one.
Yes, Raptors for me as well. I think the interesting part in this to look out for is the new folks which Raptors has acquired. So Raptors is one team historically, has always added and refined their roster over a period of time, and so it'd be interesting to see some of the newer folks who've joined Raptors. But I think yes, Raptors should be able to get the better of Troy Hawks this week.
I think Raptors will easily win this game. So.
Avi, it's a new skipper in town. It's the same old formula. Raptors keep on repackaging this formula every year. But I would like to start dancing with the Raptors on this one.
Right. Nathan?
Yeah, Raptors.
All right. And Yogi?
Yeah, I think with Praveen, Anil, and Harsha, I think Raptors is the favorites. But they will get a tough competition from Troy Hawks.
I agree. Yeah. I don't think we can take Troy Hawks lightly. And I only hope they go from strength to strength. Mm-hmm. This one is Thunderbolts versus, is it UCA again?
Yeah, UCA.
Mentioned. Okay. Yeah. So I think it's just going to be a repeat of what happened this past weekend.
So yeah, for me again, this might be even though we talk about the game of the week, but this might be interesting as well because again, two unknown teams. I know Thunderbolts have got a win under the belt, so my pick would be Thunderbolts because they have a win under the belt. But it'd be interesting to see how they match up because they are pretty new teams, very unknown. It's going to be a toss, really. I mean, whoever wins the toss, I think, is going to win it.
Right.
My pick goes to UCA. I see a couple of Marcos players, good players are playing there. I think they can easily take the Thunderbolts down.
All right.
I also believe that Marcos' team was a very good team. Arjun Chittamani is not playing on UCA, but he used to play for Marcos. But Marcos was a pretty good team. But Srinivas Elumalai plays for Marcos. He's now playing on UCA. As Satya mentioned, there are a few Marcos players playing on UCA. For that reason, I'm going to pick UCA to win this game.
All right. Nathan?
I would pick UCA too because we have seen them play last week. So there are a couple of good players in UCA. It's just that they just need the experience. And once I think they would figure it out, they are a good team. So I think I'm going for UCA.
Okay. All right, UCA, get us a win so that Parthiv can be taken off his perfect record.
Yogi?
Yeah, we don't know. I don't know much about Thunderbolts and UCA, but my gut says somehow it's Thunderbolts.
All right.
Hitman versus Blitz.
All right. So this is round 2 of, as I was talking about, they again meet each other again from last week. Again, I feel even though Hitman performed, well, but I still think Legends are going to still beat them this week as well. So I go with Legends.
I personally say Legends as well. And on a lighter note, it is their idol Balaya's birthday, I believe, today or tomorrow. So I have a feeling they'll want to honor the guy by thrashing Hitman on Saturday.
Legends, but I think they should improve their bowling. They should not let Hitman to bat so long. So they might need all their guns to come and fire again.
How many of you have seen the movie Groundhog Day? All right.
I have.
In Groundhog Day, if you haven't seen it, it's the same day gets repeated every day. You get my point?
Yeah.
Every day it's the same thing, same sequence of events. So after a number of repetitions, this guy starts feeling that, hey, this day is repeating again and again somehow. But, it's like he wakes up and it's the same thing repeating. And there is the famous groundhog, Paksatwani Phil. But anyway, my point is that another week, same game, Hitmen versus Legends. I don't see any change in the result. Legends for me.
Nitin?
Legends.
All right. And Yogi?
I'll go with Legends as well. The key contributors like Harish, Shrikant, Narne, Praveen, and Satish, I think good players. I will say I'll go with Legends.
I agree.
This is KRCC.
KRCC versus Agni. Well, for me, I have to go with KRCC on this one.
Yeah, I think I'll go with KRCC as well. I think Ramesh hasn't been able to get the required talent and pool this year. I don't see a lot of the old timers which got Agni to this level. So I still feel they still will not be able to, match the talent of KRCC. But it'll be interesting to see who Yogi fields in the 11. So I'm eagerly waiting for what the 11 looks like.
I like to pick KRCC, so Agni has to revamp and think what they can do different.
Yeah, I'm going to pick KRCC too, because I just hope Yogi will keep his promise of this dinner which he has promised me. But even though he hasn't given me any dinner so far, I'm still being a faithful friend and picking KRCC and Yogesh to win this game.
I personally want Agni to win, but as it's my old team, but for some reason, I think they still have some work to be done. So KRCC, but deep down, I want Agni to win.
I guess
that's a very honest answer, Nitin. That's a very honest answer.
Absolutely.
And of course, no prizes for guessing who Yogi is supporting on this one.
Yeah, no, I think we should be able to pull the game, but we have to be very cautious about Arjun, Abdallah, Jaswant Reddy, and Ramesh himself. So if we can contain these people, I think contain these players, I think we should be all right.
Yeah. Cautious optimism. I like that. Yeah.
Kings 11 versus Strikers.
Kings 11 versus Strikers? Honestly, I don't know much about Kings 11. Only in the interest of familiarity, I'm going to have to go with Strikers on this one.
That's a lot of confidence in Parthiv Mehta. I'm telling you that. You did not show any confidence in Parthiv Mehta. I'm telling you, the way you answered that question, that means you have zero confidence in Parthiv Mehta's abilities. I feel sorry for Parthiv.
I have complete ignorance about this opposition.
I actually prefer that. It's always good to be the underdog. So, it's always good that we'll go silently into the night.
I prefer Strikers, but Kings 11 can change a game any day. They have good players. So I think Parthiv cannot take it light. He has to work on that. So that's why I go with Strikers.
Well, I feel that Parthiv will be doing a lot of chattering from behind the stumps.
I know.
And from behind the stump, he'll be eating the head of the Kings 11 players. And finally, the king of Kings 11 is going to go mad. And the Mad King will commit harakiri on the field. And for that reason, I believe that Strikers wallop home.
All right. Okay. Nitin, yep, you're after Viju. Go ahead.
I think this will be a very close game. And there are a couple of good players in Kings 11 with the new additions of the Karodi brothers and a couple of players, Arjun Chittimaneni from Marcos. I think Kings 11 will take this one.
Nitin, you have no idea about the power of Parthiv Mehta behind the stumps.
I have seen it. I have been there and I've seen it. But for some reason, I think Kings 11, if they can get their act together, and I think Kings 11.
Good. Yogi.
Just waiting for Parthiv. What 12 players he's going to field? Is he going to Kapil Chaudhary?
We have only 13.
It is easier to break into Fort Knox and steal some gold from Fort Knox than getting the playing 11 from Parthiv Mehta. Trust me.
I totally agree. And he himself behind the scenes is enough, I think.
So who are you picking?
I'm picking strikers for now.
Okay, it's only because of Parthimet. I know that.
It's a good team. I like the.
And if Raj plays, then strikers. Is Raj...
I doubt it that Raj is playing, but yeah.
Okay.
What's this? Brownstown versus
partners. Now remind me again whose partners are. I'm sorry.
Spartans is the old Blues.
Blues.
Yeah.
I actually asked them the question: why did they change from Blues to Spartans? Did they have change in loyalty over state versus UFM? How did they change from Blues to Spartans completely? But I didn't get an answer last time.
I am hoping that the old horses will get their act together, and I'm still going to back Brownstown on this one.
I am again going to go against Brownstown because I still feel it's early. Second week is still early. I think it's their 5th or the 6th game when we'll start seeing the guys. So I'll go with Spartans. I think Detroit Blues, if I know correctly, if they have still the same folks, they gave Indus Thunders a couple of times a run for their money. I think they had a tie game a couple of years ago. So I believe they have the talent. So Brownstown, I think, will have another bad outing.
I think Rashid Bhai will try to get people to win the game from here at least, because the bad.
That's what you said last week also. Rashid Bhai will somehow pull this thing. I also said Rashid Bhai. I believe the Rashid Bhai brand, and look where I ended up with cow dung on my face. You get my point? As far as I am concerned, this week, I'm telling you guys, Rashid Bhai is going to come up with a new invention. And the new invention is a diesel engine which runs on water. He doesn't need diesel. A diesel engine which runs on water. Rashid Bhai and Brownstown this week. And my man, Rehan Bukhari, he would have heard all these comments and he will be mad and he'll want to prove a thing or two. Rashid Bhai can send me a thank you note for that, but Brownstown for me.
Okay.
Yeah, Brownstown for me too. I think this week, after the loss of last week, I think they will come back stronger. It will be a good game.
Yogesh?
Yogi?
Yeah, Viju, I hope Rashid doesn't offer you peanuts again.
I hope so too. I have enough peanuts eaten after watching for 4 hours.
Yeah, then you have to watch your cholesterol. So, what I would say is steam engine, I think Rashid will have some diesel pouring in, and I would go for Brownstown. I think if not Mansab, Haider Bhatti last time played as well. If one of the big guns like Talal or Adnan or Mansab, any of one or two players kick in, they can pull the match, and they have to be watchful of Nadeem and Sheel from Spartans. They are a very good team, very good unit, and they have to be just careful. But I go for Brownstown at this moment.
Yogesh, last week I thought all this Talal and
I know.
Mansab and all these guys, Adnan and all these guys are going to come and perform, and I got cleaned out, man.
I'm in the same boat this time. I hope we don't have to eat peanuts together.
Okay, so it's my Avi.
Well, we do have an axe to grind with them for what they did to us the last time. So I'm hoping we can get one up on them this time.
Yeah, I think I do feel the same. I will go with Pokris as well. I think they have enough to get through MCC Miles. MCC Miles, I think they rely too much on Sanjay. So Pokris just needs to get that wicket and then it's done.
Yeah, I'll go with Pokris, but if Ram can do something different, so but I think if Ravi can pull his best team on that day, they can easily win Miles. So
I think Narala and company run miles around the miles on this one, so I'm with Pokris on this one.
Great for me too.
I will go with the Pokris as well. I think Prasanna, Neelkalam, Avinash, Ravi, and Avi, you good players. I think easy.
I don't think Prasanna.
Well, even then, it's a good unit. Ravi has a good team, absolutely.
Well, thank you for that vote of confidence, Yogi, and all of you. We'll see what the Pokies do on game day. So GLCC versus Micah. I think this is another no-brainer. I give this to GLCC hands down.
Yeah, so I give it to GLCC, but my prayer is with Michigan, Micah. Hopefully they win the toss. Otherwise, they are going to have the same.
Choose to bat.
Yeah, and choose to bat. That is very important as well. So I hope that happens. Otherwise, GLCC is going to file another. And I mean, I will not go as far as 300, but I would say a double cinch, a 200 is definitely on the cards.
I go with GLCC.
I think the DCL record falls this week if GLCC bats first. And I not only do I think that the DCL record falls this week, I also think 300 is on the cards if GLCC bats first. So I'm going with GLCC.
GLCC for me.
Yeah, same here. GLCC. No brainers in there.
MI Rangers versus Rising Star.
Rangers versus Rising Stars. So this should actually be a pretty good game. And despite their reliance on Abhilash to quite an extent, I still think MI Rangers probably have enough in their arsenal to put one past Rising Stars. I'm going to pick MI Rangers on this one.
No, the other way, Satya.
Okay.
I think he picked Rising Stars in the preseason. Is that right, Satya?
Yes, he picked Rising Stars.
Yeah, Avi, you changed your pick. That's the problem.
Did I? I didn't even remember.
That's the problem.
That's fine.
So you want to stay with your original pick? Your original pick, I think, was okay. Anyway, you're picking Rising Stars, is it? All right.
No, I'm picking MI Rangers.
Oh, you changed your pick now. Okay.
Yeah.
Parthiv.
Yeah, I will go with my prediction, Rising Stars. I'll support the Patel community. Oh, did I pick MI Rangers as well? Oh my God! So I think
you guys need to write down your picks.
I think it's the time when when we discuss and we are analyzing. That's when it all comes through. Starts when you have an Excel sheet in front of you, you don't think so much. But once you start analyzing and talking about it, I think you start.
All right. So both of you swapped your picks. Okay, one guy went the other way. All right, Satya.
Right.
MI Rangers, but yeah, it depends who is available. If there is no 40, I know those guys are playing 40 nowadays. But yeah, if all those good player comes to MI Rangers, yeah, it's MI Rangers.
Yeah, I'm going with the Rangers because I think Abhilash is a fantastic player, and I think he stamps his class on Rising Stars. I don't know anything about this 40s conflict, but I think if Abhilash plays, I think Rangers can win this one. So I'll go with Rangers.
MI Rangers for me too. Because of Abhilash and Aditya Nalan and Ifti, I think MI Rangers.
Yogi.
Yeah, I think it's a well-knit team. I go with MI Rangers with Abhilash to be watched. Venkat Gandham and Jitendra Singh, I think we have to watch these players. And they have upset, knockers in 2017. So it's a team to watch. I'll go with MI Rangers.
Sterling.
Okay. Sterling Strikers versus Punjab Warriors, is it?
Yes.
Okay. And remind me again who Sterling Strikers are. I know they changed their name too, right? Oh no.
Yeah. They were FHCC, the Farmington Hills Cricket Club.
Okay.
The Ehsan Malik's team.
I understand that you can't pull off routinely what Punjab Warriors probably pulled off the last time, but just based on what little I knew of FHCC's performance over the years, I'd probably say Punjab on this one.
Yes, I go with Punjab as well. I think with the cool logo which they have and the reigning sixes which they had last time, I really am looking forward to actually going and watching their game. I feel like they are exciting, and I'm predicting not only this game, but I'm predicting them to really cause some big upsets in Pool C. So watch out for that.
Do we know when and where this game is?
We can find out.
That's all right. While you're doing Viju, please carry on.
It's on NPP.
All right. All right, you got your answer. It's on NPP3 on Saturday, right, Nathan?
Yeah, Saturday 9 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, a 9 a.m. game.
Great.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Though Punjab Warriors, though they have the attacking batting, but Sterling strikers slow at the other end. I think if Punjab Warriors go ahead, I don't think Sterling Warriors can catch up.
Well, I loved what I saw last week from Punjab Warriors. I went with the Sardar brand, and last week the Sardars performed everywhere. My Sardar had a big game in our game, and this team is loaded full of Sardars, and the Sardar brand could do nothing wrong. They did a breathtaking performance. So I'm going balle, balle, balle with Punjab Warriors.
I think I'll go with the Sterling strikers.
Okay. One up at least for the Sterling strikers.
Probably Raza Ali's magic.
Okay. Yogi?
I'll go with the Punjab Warriors. I think they are setting up the new trends with all guns blazing. They scored almost 200 runs in the opening game. I think this is a team to be watchful of. And again, some great players like Gagandeep Singh, Inderjeet Singh, and Majinder Singh, Arminder Mahal. So I think still we've seen only one game. If they play the way they are playing with the key teams, I think this is a team to watch. And I would go with the Punjab Warriors. On the other hand, Raza Ali, Haider Bhatti, and Alishan Ibadat, I think if they take care of these three players, I think they're in total control.
All right. Right. And I believe that brings us to the showcase game of the week, and the reason we have Nitin here on our panel tonight. Southfield Super Kings versus the Patriots. And despite the loss, I guess, of Pana, and not sure if anyone else has left Patriots for this year, but I still think they have. I'm not sure if Sai Kiran played last weekend, but if he's here.
He played.
He did. Okay. I still think Patriots have enough in them to put it past the SSK.
Yeah, my prediction as well goes with Patriots. I think their batting is superior to SSK. So I think, batting first or chasing, I think they should be able to pile the runs on SSK.
I go with Patriots. So they have a good team. I played one season with them in FCC Cup. So they're really good and they had a good chemistry between everybody. So I go with Patriots this time.
Yeah, Avi, on this one, I feel when we voted on who should get the honor of the showcase game of the week, this game got 3 votes out of 4 votes for the showcase game of the week. I think both teams deserve this honor. SSK has improved a lot from what they were when they first came into the league, and that's why this game got that recognition. Patriots has been good for some time now. They have some fabulous players on that team. I really have enjoyed watching Sai Kiran Tota play. I've seen him play in some night tournaments, and initially I didn't even know his name. But when I saw him bat, I walked away saying, who is this guy? This guy is a fabulous player. And then I've seen him indoors playing with Indus Thunders some games. Very fabulous player with the bat, and he's a very good bowler also. A very low-key person, very a great team asset to have. And I think his skipper Nitin should be very happy to have that kind of talent on his thing. I am going with Patriots on this one. I honestly don't see how Super Kings can compete with Patriots. I think Patriots can do a lot of damage to a lot of good teams out there. They have made it to the playoffs. They have really performed very well. Though since we have Nitin on the show, and I know, Avi, you're going to ask him a number of questions about his team and what are the highlights of his team, and we are going to give him an opportunity to talk about some of his players and what they do special, and introduce all of DCL and us to his team, and talk well of his team, and what are their strengths and what do they like about Patriots. And one thing which I would want to ask Nitin is, why did the Patriots, and that's the tough question which I would ask him, which is, why did the Patriots separate from FCC Agni? Because I did not hear it directly from the mouth of anybody. You hear a lot of rumors, but while we have him on the show, that's probably a comment, a question which I want him to address in some way or shape, because that's a question which we ask, because FCC Agni also has some very good players, and if they were together one, they probably would have achieved a lot more. But at the same time, if the chemistry is not good, then it's time to find the right chemistry. But very fabulous team, and I think Nitin deserves the honor today to present his team, and I look forward to hearing from him.
So thank you, Viju. So basically, we have been playing. Myself have been playing the DCL for the past 7 years. 2015 was my first year. And the core of Patriots pretty much comes from Agni, as you mentioned, like me, Sai, Madhu, Moon, Narendra, Naresh, Pavan, Ganesh, come from past Agni team only. So why we split up? It was nothing to do. It was just the thought process, or what we wanted to achieve, and all time. No disrespect to Ramesh. It was because of Ramesh we reached playoffs when we were Agni, and then once things were not going. We split up very amicably, and it was in good. And that's it. Other than that, there is nothing to why we exactly split up. Don't hear all the rumors. Everything is trash. So Ramesh is still he calls me every week before the game. He gives me tips. Whatever. Even last year when we made to the quarters, it was all background, and he was the one who used to help us. And yeah, we have a good core. We have been playing from the last 7 years together, So that's the chemistry which we have, and I think that is what is important. Once you reach the playoffs, or as DCL is 14 weeks of tournament, you need that chemistry. And as you mentioned, I am happy to have Sai, Naresh, who on their day can destroy any bowling attack.
So I have a question. So this team has, I think, changed their names at least 2 times already. I think they started with Lions.
No. We were Agni, and then we changed to Rockers because there was not any team left, so we had to take the Rockers spot. And because we were too late, we could not change the name. Otherwise, we should have Team Patriots in 2018 itself. But it was just us, and because now this year we wanted to change it.
See, once again, Parthiv is not in top of the facts. Lions was a totally different team. He doesn't even know what happened in the committee.
No, I think Lions was part of the FCC fraternity, right? So FCC club had Lions, FCC, and FCC Agni. And then I think FCC Agni and FCC remained. Lions went out, and then Rockers came in. And then now you guys have changed from Rockers to Patriots. So it's the masala which is moved. Players that moved from one team to the other, but it's the same 3 teams: FCC, FCC Agni, and now Patriots.
So the thing there is that just like Yogesh took over KRCC, that's what happened with Patriots taking over Rockers. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Exactly. Yes, because we were not allowed to have a new name for that, so we had to take the Rockers.
Yep. What's the next question for him, Avi? I'm sure you have some additional questions. I didn't want to hog all the questions, you see.
No, that's all right. I'm quite happy to let you hog. You probably ask way more colorful questions and in a more colorful manner than I do. But it's
no, go ahead.
No, so you've.
I think Satya has a question.
Okay.
So, what will be the target in his mind if he is facing SSK now, this week?
We don't keep any targets as such. It's just on that day, whether we bat first or bowl first. It's just, the target is to win the game with 5 points. That's the first target. Other than that, we do not have any targets. To get as much as exposure to all the playing 11, 12 people, so that come the playoffs, they have the experience. And yeah.
How is your squad shaping up for this weekend? Anybody in particular that you've gotten new? Anybody that you've lost? Do you have a conflict with players playing other leagues? Or?
No, unfortunately, fortunately, we don't have any people playing F40. It's just one guy, Narendra. But other than that, we don't have any players playing F40.
Okay.
He should also be available. So, but
Narendra Anye?
Yeah, Narendra Anye.
I'm sure the club I play for, he plays for one of the teams in that club. I'm sure they wouldn't want to let him go. So. But for your sake, let's hope that Narendra shows up that day.
But we have a pretty good. We have the full squad.
Right, okay.
So Nitin, in your squad this year, anybody we need to kind of watch out? Anyone you think is going to create news?
You have seen the first match already, Naresh Sundar. So, he is a complete team player. If I ask him to hit, go bonkers, he will go. But we want him to play the whole innings. That's what he brings us. The top three has to play at least 12 to 15 overs. That would set up a platform, to Sai, Raja, to go hit Balaji, to hit, to express themselves. So, so that's the only. And Sai, I think he will probably, again, be in the mix of the things in the conversation for MVP. Yeah, and I think you need to probably watch out this year is Rajshekhar. I think he will surprise a couple of guys.
So while I have you, Nitin, tell me more about Rajshekhar, because that's what we want to do, right? Because in the sense that there might be some players on your team who are not getting the recognition which they deserve, but you as skipper know them better than everybody else. So please introduce some of your players who you think are going to have breakout season, maybe this 2021 DCL season.
I think the breakout, because everyone knows Naresh, so there is nothing for them to break out because they will perform day in and day out, and everyone would have plans for them for Sai and Naresh. But I think this year Raja he came to Michigan 2019, and he played for us that year. And we have seen him what he can do against Pokiris in quarters, pre-quarters. So
pre-quarter final. Yeah.
Once he gets into his zone, then he can. He is like a big hitter. You can probably put him in the likes of Maulik Patel. Jazak knows him, but what I have seen and what I know about him, he could.
Okay.
And that's good, because this brings out the ability of some of these players, which other people, everybody knows the Maulik Patels and Mansab Butts of this world, but somebody like this, he's going under the radar. But what we are hoping to do in these kind of shows is, when we are bringing a game of the week, is we're trying to highlight those kind of players by having the skippers come on. And obviously, we are not doing much on the SSK because there's no one from SSK here. Their skipper was unable to make it, and he couldn't convince any of his players to come on the show. But that's their loss, is what I feel. But this is an opportunity to highlight. But having said that, Nitin, let me put you on the spot here. When Glatz plays games, I always have a calibration process, in the sense that I'm looking for certain things, and I'm trying to see where my team stands. So, for example, last week after our game, I was very unhappy with our performance. Yeah, sure, we got the bonus point, but I felt that we did not play like a top team, and that's my honest assessment. The facts might be that we got 5-0, but I think that it doesn't matter. And I told Satya that team is not going to win any championship. You have reached pre-quarterfinals in DCL, quarters in DCL. Now, tell me, what do you have to do to take your team to the next level?
It is, come the playoffs, it is just, the mindset. That's what we could not when we played GLCC. If at all we had just that mindset, the temperament on that day, what needs to be, we were in that moment. We did not, play it as a normal game. But if we would have played it, I think we would have won against GLCC. When we had a couple of runouts, which unfortunate runouts. But so all I would say right now is the experience. 2 years of playing again, a couple of players playing one new whole year again DCL, now with the T-ball and everything. I think we just need the experience. That's what I would.
All right.
Okay.
Great. Well, since we do have you here in person, we wish both teams the best of luck. But to you personally, good luck for this weekend's game.
Avi.
And we look forward to you guys actually making it the deserved showcase game of the week.
Good luck, Nathan. I'm very happy to hear from you, and I thank you for introducing some of your players to us and to the rest of the DCL community. And good luck, Yogesh, in your game, and good luck, Parthiv, and good luck, Pokris. We are off, so but good luck to all of you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Viju. Thanks.
Thank you, Viju. Take care.
Thank you very much. So I believe that brings us to a wrap for tonight's show. We apologize. I know this is also a bit of a long discussion, but I believe it was quite an interesting one. So I'm hoping you've all, those of you that caught this live, I hope you've all had a good time enjoying the discussions. And to those of you that are eagerly waiting to tune in at your convenience, please do so. And as always, we always welcome your feedback on the show. Please do. I'm sure most of you know most of us on this panel personally, so please feel free to reach out. I'd like to thank Nitin and Yogesh for joining us tonight and for your patience while we went through every segment. And of course, thank you to our analysts who always bring so much excitement to all of us in this community every week. So thank you, take care, stay safe, and have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Hey guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.